We be live. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone. It's news time. Look, Secular Right saying it's news time. Woo. Hello. Oxymoron. Shuvoda. Secularity. Who else is here? The Secular. Okay, sure. Username, something I don't remember. You have to come up with a better username. You know how people it's difficult to read your comments every time because I have to read the entire username. Maybe we should come up with the acronym. Maybe SIR, right? SIR is saying from now on we're gonna say SIR. Audio music is saying audio is good, fantastic. D's here, good. All right, Susie, we're gonna cover the news today, right? On atheism, religion, maybe a little bit of politics.
Definitely.
Today's news are what? Funny, tragic, ridiculous. What do we have? What countries are we covering mostly? What
Oh,
is
we
it?
got a lot of stories out of India this week.
Mm-hmm.
Some, oh my gosh, we have so much to unpack from India this week. And then we have two very surprising stories from Nigeria, some stories from the US, and some exciting Atheist Republic news, and the sad story from Iran.
Okay. Forever Stormy is asking. Susanna is looking angelic. What is that lighting?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So for the first news, is it clappable? Did anybody? Guys, when I ask if it's clappable, basically what I'm asking was anybody murdered, um, RAPE'd, molested, or tortured? Okay, so because I don't want to clap for those, right? But is this clappable? So if we clap, it doesn't mean we approve of them. We're happy that it's happening. It
Okay,
just means
so what we're asking is, can we eliminate the worst case scenario things? In
right.
that case, yes, we can
Yes.
clap.
You know what? We should say clips are not no. Claps are not endorsement. You know how in Twitter in the bio, retweets are not
Retweets are not
endorsement.
endorsement.
Claps are not endorsements.
That's actually perfect. Okay, we'll just do that from now on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this first story, there's a lot to get into. So let's clap.
Claps are not endorsements.
First news.
Next news.
Indian Supreme Court slams Hindu party spokeswoman for insulting Islam. So, on July 1st, Nupur Sharma, the suspended BJP spokesperson, was sharply criticized by the Supreme Court of India for her controversial remarks on the Prophet Muhammad that sparked international outrage and domestic violence. Or, I should not like. Anyways, the court refused to accept Sharma's plea to consolidate all the different police reports, or FIRs, lodged against her for hurting religious sentiments filed across numerous states in India. According to the Supreme Court, Nupur Sharma is quote unquote single handedly responsible for exacerbating tensions between Hindus and Muslims in India, and even for the murder of a Hindu tailor who was beheaded by Islamists for showing support to Sharma. Justice Surya Kant lambasted Sharma for her perceived arrogance, stating, "What if she is the what if she's the spokesperson of a party? She thinks she has a backup power and can make any statement without respect to law of the land?" When Sharma's lawyer said that she had apologized for her remarks and retracted the statements, the court replied that she should have gone on TV and begged the nation to be forgiven. These statements by the Supreme Court were harshly criticized by many. Some even said that the court was following Islamic Sharia law.
First of all, she's single-handedly responsible for does the court, excuse me, does single-handedly, does it not mean like she's responsible and no one else? Is that not what single-handedly means? Or am I misunderstanding?
Yeah.
Okay, so if the court is saying that she is single-handedly responsible, does that mean that the people that have actually committed the violence and the murder, that they are not responsible at all? Isn't that what the implications are?
In fact, it's even worse than that, Armin. It's worse than that. It's validating the people who became violent and did violent things to other citizens because of her statements. They're actively validating like the extrajudicial violence because they're attributing the responsibility to her. This is why I titled this segment "The Supreme Court of India is wrong about Nupur Sharma."
Wait, like, okay, so if you arrest the people that actually committed murder, can't they just say like, "Hey, the Supreme Court said that is her, she is the one that is responsible single-handedly"? That means I'm off the hooks. That's what the highest court in the land says, that it was all her. What the hell is happening? This is the Supreme Court. I thought the India Supreme Court was smarter than this. I don't understand how this works. So, by the way, what is like? Why do you have your Supreme Court just coming out and making like moral statements? Aren't they just supposed to uphold the law? Like, are they like, what is this? Like, are they like is this the Supreme Court or the Supreme, like, I don't know, like the moral judgment passing institution? I don't know. What is this? Like, what is this? Like, they can't.
Okay, so to be clear, these are not contained within orders from the court regarding this matter. Okay, this is what the two justices on the bench said about her during the proceedings. And actually some messed up stuff happened during these proceedings, which Forever Stormy is pointing out. So the context of why she was there in front of the Supreme Courts is as follows. Basically, there have been FIRs, or police reports, for those who don't know what an FIR is, filed against her for hurting religious sentiments across probably every state in the Union of India. Like, it's probably every state at this point. And so her lawyer was petitioning the court to say, okay, can we combine all of these? My understanding is, okay, let me be clear. This is my understanding of the proceedings. I could be wrong. But she was asking, can we combine all these cases into one case and then just deal with that case, since they all belong to or are related to the same alleged quote unquote crime? And the court basically, they were so pissed off at her. They were so mad at her because you can read basically what they were saying, that they just refused to let her do this. And this is actually a huge problem legally, because this is a problem of double jeopardy. You can't be tried multiple times for the same crime, like a kangaroo court. And so what Forever Stormy is pointing out was, and the Supreme Court was wrong to not let her combine the FIRs. The court has now made police harassment legal. So this is setting actually a really dangerous precedent.
By the way, I don't understand how things work in India, okay? But I don't think, am I wrong to think like she did what she did, like, even if we were criticizing her, okay? Because maybe in her position, she shouldn't have said that, even though everything she said is true. But I think like the worst that should happen to her is like being let go of her position as the BGP spokesperson. Okay, I don't think anything she did was a crime. Do you think anything she did was a crime? I think like she should
absolutely not.
I think it was a poor decision, and the punishment should have been like, you're fired. That's it. Okay,
And she was.
And she was. That's it. That's go home, everybody. She said something that she shouldn't have said as a spokesperson. I fired her. Done. Why is this a crime? Nothing she has done should be a crime anywhere on the planet. It's unbelievable that India, a secular democracy, you could have the Supreme Court coming at you because of expressing an opinion. Does it make sense? No. I don't think so.
But here's the thing. She wasn't even expressing an opinion. She was just stating what is in Islamic scripture. She was just stating facts.
You know what? I think the Supreme Court of India is going for Islam, okay? They are trying to make Islam illegal. I think they have it I think they're working with each other, okay? This is all just a trick, okay? Nupur Sharma and the Supreme Court of India, they're like, I will be the victim. Come at me, set up the standard for what's illegal to say. I will say something that is true within Islam. You tell everybody it's illegal. Everybody claps. And then like, based on this standard, now the Quran and the Hadith, it's illegal. Checkmate Islam. We got rid of it. Islam, India is free of Islam right now. I think because if this is illegal, then reading the Hadith should be illegal. The Hadith itself says the things that Nupur Sharma says. Does it not?
It is my understanding that it certainly does. So let me clarify something. Forever Stormy is saying she technically broke the law since India has blasphemy laws. The right course, is for the Supreme Court to strike down those laws, but they will never do this because that will piss off the government. So when Armin and I are saying that what she did was not criminal, we're saying
no, I didn't say that.
We were just saying, we were like,
shouldn't be. I think I was careful.
It shouldn't. Whatever we said, we were like, it's. I believe I just said what she did was not criminal. Technically, it is against the penal code of India. Okay, in a reasonable society, this should not be criminal. Is what I'm trying to say. I know that technically it is, but it shouldn't be. Blasphemy is not a crime at large.
No, I was careful. I didn't say what she did is. I think I said. What she did was not against the law, because it is against the law. I said it shouldn't be against the law. I think I was careful to say it that way. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay. By the way, how do you like this, Hindus? This is blasphemy laws. Okay, a lot of Hindus were like clapping for blasphemy laws when they were being used against me and Susie. Okay, now these are the same blasphemy laws that we are endorsing. If you want to endorse that, you have to endorse this. Okay, you should be like, yeah, lock her away. FIRs have plenty of, like, as many FIRs as you want. Okay, if you endorse all these FIRs being filed against me and Susie, but now you're saying this is unfair, you're a goddamn hypocrite. Okay, this is what blasphemy law gets you. You can't speak. Okay, you cannot you cannot express your ideas. You can't even state facts. Okay, because blasphemy laws will come for you. And the Supreme Court agrees with it. How is this India? How is this a secular democracy? I mean, come on, guys. Fix your country.
He yells at the screen. Okay, I wanted to read this segment.
Wait, 1 second. One more thing. Isn't the Supreme Court, like, the reason why we criticize Nupur Sharma, okay? Like, everybody like, oh my God, you're insulting Islam. Who cares? Okay. Our problem with Nupur Sharma was not the fact that she was like offending Muslims and stuff. In fact, do that as much as you want. Our problem was that as a politician, I don't even know if that position makes her a politician or not, but potentially as a politician, she should not be expressing opinions about maybe if in her capacity as a politician, she should stay away talking about religion. Maybe she, like, on her private time, she should, again, that's not illegal. It's just not advised, I think. Okay. However, what Nupur Sharma did, and me and Susanna criticized, the Supreme Court is doing that 100 times more. Like, the Supreme Court is like, oh, these are religious things and you shouldn't have a comment about it. Like, they are, like, you have a government entity talking about what people should and shouldn't say religious wise. So, so what the action, like, in this manner, the actions of the Supreme Court is a lot more a violation of secularism than what Nupur Sharma did. We don't even know if technically, because the BJP people say it's a private organization, so her position as a spokesperson doesn't make her a politician, not paid by the taxpayer. I don't know how that works, okay? But it's iffy, okay? It's questionable. But the Supreme Court, basically this is what I'm saying. If what Nupur Sharma did was wrong, then by the same standard, the Supreme Court is 1,000 times more wrong, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think in many ways, what the Supreme Court said regarding her has way more weight than, like, her insulting, quote unquote, insulting comments. Because they can be like, she can be dismissed, as, the party wants to turn their back on her and suddenly say that she's a fringe element, where it's like, sure. They've been carefully mentoring her for like 10 years.
This is not the Supreme Court.
This is actually like the highest court in the land. To me, the opinions that they're putting forth, even if it's not like a part of the order, like, has so much more gravity to it. But I wanted to read a little bit from this article.
I think you should rename the Supreme Court as the Fifi Police, okay? So you're not the Supreme Court. You're the Fifi Police, okay? People's Fifis are hurt. Quick, send out the ambulances. People are hurt. People's wambulances. Send out the wambulances. Buy some wambulances for the Supreme Court so it could protect people's Fifis when they're hurt in India. Oh, my feelings are hurt. Don't worry. The Supreme Court is on the case. They're gonna protect you. They're gonna protect your feebies. Show the Supreme Court where it's hurt. They're gonna kiss it for you and make it all feel better. It's gonna go. All the bad feelings are gonna go away. Okay, how's that? Okay, go on.
I wanted to read this little excerpt from a piece from News Laundry that really detailed why the Supreme Court is so wrong. So this was written by Anand Vardhan for News Laundry. I love News Laundry, by the way, guys. Really great journalism. So they say, so here they're talking about like why the Supreme Court's comments are dangerous. Quote, first, there is a clear danger in the skewed causality that the court used in observing that Sharma's offensive remarks against Prophet Muhammad were, quote unquote, single-handedly responsible for what is happening in the country. This could be seen as judicial approval for blaming her comments for the violent protests and arson, and more recently, the gruesome murder of a Hindu tailor in Udaipur for allegedly supporting her remarks. Moreover, she has been receiving death threats with even calls made for her beheading. Given this backdrop, the court's remarks could easily be seen as reinforcing the case for the radical impulse, the threat of violence, and the gory evidence of actual violence as a response against the offensive comments made in a TV studio. It's hard to find which form of modern jurisprudence treats verbal excess amounting to religious hurt as a valid ground for perpetuation of violence, arson, and calls for beheading. By this line of reasoning, if the French teacher Samuel Paty and the slain Charlie Hebdo journalists were alive today, could they be held single-handedly responsible for all forms of possible violent acts done to protest against them and their suspected supporters? I thought that was an excellent point. Like, so if like Samuel Paty, who was beheaded, for quote allegedly showing the Prophet Muhammad to his students in a classroom. So if he survived, if he didn't die, if he wasn't murdered for this quote unquote blasphemy, and then there were people protesting him and they lit something on fire, is he responsible for that? Of course not. It's absurd.
You don't even have to go there. Based on this standard, he's responsible for his own beheading. He beheaded himself.
True. So I want to read just a little bit more. The highly problematic cause and effects premise of the court's remark neither aligns with reasonable causality nor proportionality. Instead of being a deterrent against violent response to religious hurt, the remarks unwittingly validate it. In doing so, it could end up playing an unintended part in emboldening violent responses to a range of possible hurt to religious beliefs. And then here's what really gets me. This writer makes such a good point. Second, the court's observations apply an uneven application of the idea of context in judging extreme response. The petitioner had sought to explain her offensive comments as an angry reaction to her deity being insulted by the other panelists in a TV debate. While the court wasn't inclined to consider this as an explanation for her offense, it somehow saw the violent protests in the Udaipur killing in the context of the religious hurt caused by the comments made in a TV studio. If one considers that recourse to context can be a contentious ground to explain offense, its inconsistent use makes it more problematic. The court's remarks gave an impression that the context of religious hurt sentiments was acceptable as grounds for physical violence, but the hurt religious sentiment couldn't be the context for the offensive remark made in reaction. This ends up giving precedence to one context or over the other. So they're saying, okay, even if you do take your reasoning about who's responsible, even if we do accept that, even if that's the case, you're applying unevenly. You have double standards. Because if Nupur Sharma is single-handedly responsible for the violence and international outrage, then what about the person who made her upset about the comments about the Shiva Ling?
They're
and then she
Hindu-phobic.
reacted. Isn't that person who made the comments that made her react with her anger as responsible themselves? Or are they
double
responsible
standard? You're right.
for her anger?
You're
But
right.
apparently that's not the case.
Guys,
it's a double standard.
Yeah, this is double standard against Hinduism. See, like me and Susie are being unbiased here. Okay, this is more, endorsing butthurt feelings from Muslims, but not from Hindus. Like, what the hell's happening here? Like if she's single-handedly responsible, then she's not responsible because she was also responding to her religious sentiments being insulted. So she had, if the people who committed murder had no choice because, hey, it was Nupur Sharma who just incited like their feelings, well, her feelings were also incited by somebody else who was who was criticizing Hinduism. So she's not responsible. And probably they were also, so they could also come like, hey, no, somebody was insulting us, so we were upset, so we're not responsible. And then they could also just go find the first person that all the crimes within India will be like, just pin it on one person, okay? Like it started with you, okay? Like, figure out.
Yeah.
Oh my
but
God.
I want to make a broader point. And this point goes to that this attitude is at the root of all blasphemy laws, all aspects of penal code that are work towards enshrining religious belief. This is the justification for all of them, saying, in the interest of creating a peaceful society, we have to curtail your free expression, because if you freely express yourself in regards to this one aspect of life that we are going to enshrine above all others, then people are going to commit violence, and basically you're responsible for that violence being done to you. That's why we're going to criminalize it. Like, it's a blame the victim mentality, and it's not actually holding the people who feel compelled to take that violent and criminal action accountable. It's saying, well, they were so outraged because of this one thing that we hold above all others.
Yeah. It also gives so much power to violence, okay? You know, like the reason why, like, secularists, like, we don't go like, you're violating our secularism and we're so offended, we might go and, like, I don't know, do something violent. Okay, we're not going to do that. So nobody's going to appease us. So this is how the justice system just tries to appease the craziest and the most violent among you, because you're just more to just scare you the most. So you just have to give them what they want, right? So this is like, and if you fall for that, then those methods work more. So more people are going to be like, hey, we're getting what we want. So how about a little bit more mob justice for everybody, so that everybody, the whole system bends the knee to us because they're scared of us, right? Anyways,
I want to read a few comments before we move on. Forever Stormy on Twitch, guys, go follow us on Twitch, is saying an FIR under blasphemy laws is a badge of honor at this point. I agree, Stormy, which is why I was so happy when I finally got an FIR filed against me. Armin has like 6 or 7. I was finally included on one of them.
Yeah, I want to frame my FIRs and maybe put them in my background. Should I do that? I like this.
I still have copies of, like,
oh yeah,
well, some of the legal complaints sent to us. That's not an FIR, but like people would post the FIRs that they filed against you on Twitter, just full of spelling mistakes, like full of the most obvious grammatical mistakes ever.
How are your lawyers so uneducated? Like, I would think a legal letter written by a lawyer filed against us would have been, it seems like it's done by a 6th grader or something. Like no wonder you're having legal
I don't know if they even were written by lawyers, to be honest, because it doesn't seem like
the one that we know that was written by a lawyer. That one was horribly, like, oh my God. Anyways, but
yeah, that was insane. Yeah, but I would like to, just brag about the fact that this is an honor that, Armin and I both share.
I should hang it. You should, like, frame it, but then also hang it around, like, have a frame hanging around there.
Hang it around your neck. Yeah. Bengali Hindu is saying blasphemy laws should be scrapped. Here at Atheist Republic, even if you are religious, if you're non-religious, if you are right-wing, if you're liberal, if you support Hinduism, if you don't, I think everyone here agrees that the blasphemy laws should be scrapped. It is very rare that even our, like, right-wing Hinduism supporters support the blasphemy law.
Support the removal of it. Yeah.
No, I'm saying it's very rare that they do support it here.
Yes.
And Forever Stormy is saying India's Supreme Court makes the Supreme Court of the United States justices look like a bunch of liberal activists.
True. But I mean, they're I don't know. I'm assuming a lot of Hindus are pretty pissed right now in India because of this law, right? Right, like they're accusing. Um, do the Supreme Court feel like? Does it care? Does it feel pressure? Are they scared? Because people are like really angry, aren't they, in India over this decision?
I mean, so their court order was like basically just about not letting her combine all the FIRs. Okay, so I don't know how
Yeah.
much of the outrage is about that actual decision.
No,
that
about the
court order. I
commentary,
do
the
think
way
there are
they
problems with that. There are major
no, the
problems
way
with
they
that. No, but there were joint letters of over like 150 people, like ex-bureaucrats, former like ministers, like former really, you know, like high court
Yeah.
lawyers, advocates, who wrote a letter outraged at the Supreme Court, like expressing their discontent, and that there was actually, I think, like some sort of complaint or public interest litigation filed to like rectify their comments against her.
I'm just the silver lining to this is that a whole bunch of people that liked these blasphemy laws, okay, now they're like, wait a second, we don't like these anymore. So I'm hoping like we get more Hindus on our side against blasphemy laws because of this. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of blasphemy law in India, we got a huge blasphemy story from India coming up on our next news.
Oh, we finished all the comments?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this one. Yes.
In fact, I am wearing my Kali and Sita.
Wait, how do I make you the only one on the screen? Hold on, let me see if I could do that. It's not letting me do that. Nope.
Wait.
Oh, there we go. I got it. Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
Don't switch it. I was switching it.
There we go.
There we go.
You can buy this shirt at Atheist Republic. This is a shirt we made in support of marriage equality in India, LGBT Kali and Sita. Yes, go check it out. Link in the description below. Because yes, Forever Stormy is saying, oh, it's the Kali news. Yes, it's time for the Kali news this week, you guys.
All right, so I'm assuming we could clap. Did anybody know? Yeah, clap worthy?
Let's clap.
Okay, next news.
Another Hindu goddess blasphemy scandal. Kali smoking poster sparks outrage. So obviously here at the Atheist Republic, we are known for our sexy Kali blasphemy. And man, India has been roiled with the controversy surrounding this Kali blasphemy this time. So let's get into it. On July 2nd, a tweet that showed the Hindu goddess Kali smoking a cigarette and holding a pride flag sparked rage in India. Lina Mani Makalai, I know I didn't pronounce that right, I apologize, an Indian-born Toronto-based director, had tweeted a picture of her film poster for her quote-unquote performance documentary that was meant to be debuted at the Aga Khan Museum. The tweet resulted in hashtag arrest Lina Mani Mankalai trending on Twitter in India. Lina was subsequently trolled by tens of thousands of Hindu extremists, facing thousands of graphic threats, and members of her crew were doxxed. Lina explained to the BBC that her film depicts the goddess Kali as a champion of humanity and embraces diversity. Even the High Commission of India at Ottawa issued a condemnation and stated, quote, "We urge the Canadian authorities and the event organizers to withdraw such provocative material." Both the Aga Khan Museum and the Toronto Metropolitan University, through which Lina was pursuing a fellowship, issued statements apologizing for the offense and revoked the film screenings. Speaking to the BBC, I already said that. She's saying, as a poet and a filmmaker, I embody Kali in my own independent vision.
What are the chances that she was inspired by R. Kelly? Because our sexy Kali also has a rainbow flag. By the way, can you show it one more time? Because this segment is going to be cut and people are not going to know that you already showed it once. Can you just show the shirt one more time? Yeah. See, this is our sexy Kali. And if you look, show them where the rainbow flag is on our
Where
sexy
is it?
Kelly.
It's like
This is Kelly. This is Kelly and Sita making out with each other. That
the
is the
little
rainbow
LGBT
flag.
pride flag.
Okay, so it's easy to see why that's Kelly, but can you also tell people how we can tell that that's Sita on the other side? Show.
Oh, because she has a little golden deer jewelry.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Good.
Anyways, so I wanted to talk about this news so badly. I first discovered this tweet when I was actually preparing for the news last week, and I saw the outrage brewing over this, and I was like, I sent it to Armin right away. I was like, "Whoa, Armin, look! I sense Akali Backlash," and even I did not expect it to get this big over the week that followed. It was crazy. So this, okay, I don't even know where to start. First of all, apparently what is so offensive about this is the fact that she's smoking a cigarette. Now, this doesn't make any sense to me. This is a cultural thing. I literally do not understand why smoking the cigarette is offensive. I literally don't understand it.
I get it though.
Especially considering that Kali is like the Super Saiyan version of the feminine aspect of Siva. And Siva is constantly smoking weed. Like, so this doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, the feminine aspect of Siva can't smoke. She can't smoke, but he can smoke, and he's always like smoking ganja. Like, so
but it makes sense. Weed is not as bad for you as this is just a public health message, okay? These Hindus are concerned about people's health. They're offended because, like, okay, weed is not as bad. This is like really bad for your health. They're like, why are you advertising this message that smoking is okay? Obviously, it's not okay. They're just concerned about your health. That's why they're offended.
So this is so crazy to me. I don't even know where to begin. So first of all, like, she's refused to apologize, and I really appreciate that she's standing firm, because like it actually made me appreciate how we handled it, Armin, because the fact that the Aga Khan Museum and her own university like turned their back on her and disowned her was pissed me off so much. It made me so angry. Part of the outrage actually was the fact that it was being shown at the Aga Khan Museum, because obviously, okay, maybe not obvious to everyone, but Aga Khan is Ismaili, and Ismaili Shia Muslim sect and organization. So they're saying, look, this Muslim organization, this Muslim sect, they're promoting the blasphemy and the disrespect in this depiction of our goddess. Oh my God, this validates everything I've ever been told. Like,
yeah, it's true. All your nightmares are true. All the people who are attacking Hinduism, they're funded and supported by Islamists or are Islamists. This confirms it.
Yeah.
But at this point, you can't do anything about it. So that's why we're going mask off. Okay, none of your gods are safe. By the way, why is it just Kali that everybody is like when we do blasphemous heart about all Hindu goddesses? People don't get as butthurt as when you go for Kali. And Kali is not even a major goddess. Like, we have more important goddesses than Kali, but Kali is the one that people have this emotional attachment to. Does anybody know what
it's kind of strange, because like Kali is more of like a Bengali goddess in many ways, but it's oftentimes like these northern India Hindutva extremists who are going so hard to defend her honor, which is ridiculous to me. You think Kali, pure Shakti, needs anyone to defend her honor? Like, of course not. And
among all the goddesses, she's the last one that needs her defense, right? Like, this is like, she's gonna eat you for breakfast, okay? Before,
literally,
like, even the people,
like, actually. Okay, so here's part of the contention: is that this filmmaker, she's from the South, I believe she's from Tamil Nadu, and She was like, this is the Kali that I grew up with. I grew up with a tribal Kali. The Kali that I grew up with, she eats meat. She drinks goat's blood. She dances crazily. She's uncontrollable. She smokes cigarettes. This is who I grew up with, seen, observed, and portrayed in all of my, village's rituals and stuff. So it's also a contention of who gets to dictate what is Hindu worship now. And we are seeing a concerted effort to build a monolithic Hindu belief system, which is completely antithetical to anything Hindu and is in many ways actually replicating what the colonists were trying to do to Hinduism, because the idea of trying to think of Hinduism as a religion itself is like a Western construct being forced on to this very diffuse thing that we now call Hinduism or Indic faith. And so then what happened was there was a politician, she's in the Congress Party, I believe she's in Moitra.
You got chopped a little bit. She's in the Congress Party. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she's in the Congress Party, I believe, representing part of West Bengal, and her name is Mahua Moistra, and basically she was on a TV show, and someone asked her about this, and she basically said there's nothing wrong with this portrayal of Kali, where I grew up, my Kali eats meat, she drinks alcohol, she smokes, she drinks goat's blood. And then because this Hindu politician she was simply expressing her own practice of worshiping and her rituals surrounding the worship of Kali, then people started filing FIRs against her in multiple states because they couldn't tolerate the fact that they referenced her as drinking alcohol and eating meat, which is, so taboo, but in eating fish. Everyone, okay, maybe not everyone, it's well known that especially in Bengali practice, these things are typical. The fish eating in particular is very typical, but the inclusion of meat is also very regionally normal, and the inclusion of alcohol is also very normal across different regions of India. And the fact that then people are filing police reports against her for simply expressing what she does in her own ritual practice is absurd to me. Not only this, but then the Congress Party from her region then distanced themselves from her, basically saying she said that in her own personal capacity, which is insulting to their own constituents, because the constituents are like, we support your party, but this is literally what we do here. There's nothing wrong in what she said. What is the implication by you suddenly saying we're distancing ourselves from her? Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. The only person who supported this MP or whatever her role is, was Sashish Thakur. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name right. Which if anyone, he's one of the most important Congress MPs in the country. As an outsider, when I think the Congress Party, I think Sashish Thakur. And so he was the only person that came out to moderately support her in the most bland of ways. And then they came out and said that what he said was also said in his own personal capacity. I'm like, this is insane. This is insane. Who gets to dictate these things? It's a person talking about their own ritual practice of a goddess. These tribal practices surrounding this particular goddess are extremely well known, at least to me. They're seen as something that's blasphemous and worthy to file a police report over because she's deliberately offending religious sentiments. We have reached, it's spiraled to such a level of I don't even know. It's so absurd, Armin. It is so absurd.
Can we have her on the show? Can we invite her? Lena?
Okay, maybe we can. But I saw on her Twitter that she said that when she is able to, she is going to give away signed posters from this movie. And
Oh.
I swear to God, I am going to get one of these signed posters of the Kali performance documentary, okay? Guys, we need to make it happen. One day, you are going to see a framed Kali poster with Kali smoking in the background.
Okay, but can we get her on the show as well? Maybe that will help you get the poster if we get her on the show.
True. I also want to actually watch her documentary. Because I read I cannot speak. Like, I read a piece in The Wire India today, and it is legitimately one of the best pieces of writing I have read in a really long time. And it's called When Kali Descends. Guys, go look it up. And it talks about in detail the tribal history of Kali, pulling up sources about how it references how to observe her correctly. You need to bring her alcohol, the things involved in the celebration of her and in her pujas involve sex. Like, it's very explicit. And so they're saying the people who are making these claims, like, they haven't even read these texts. They haven't read the poems of hundreds of years of venerating this goddess, because how you memorialize her is really well observed. And it ties that into this film. And so in this poster, when you see her smoking a cigarette, it is a performance artist who basically becomes possessed by Kali, walking through the streets of Toronto. And it's her experience of the diverse fabric of the culture of Toronto. She goes looking for the First Nations people to return their land to them, and then comes to this conclusion that no one can own the land because the universe is immaterial and ever changing. And she shares this cigarette with this black homeless guy living on the street. And it's supposed to be this. It's both a reference to how Kali
That's
worshippers.
a bad idea. There's a pandemic going on, people.
That is a bad idea. But it's supposed to be a reference to how Kali worshippers will give her these items, including alcohol, including cigarettes. And then once, she has consumed them, then the worshippers can then consume what they gave to her as sacrifice. So in a way, they're sharing these items, they're sharing these rituals or these vices with the goddess herself. So it's like a reference to that relationship of the devotee going to the goddess and then sharing, this act with her. And then, but it's also talking about how the goddess can come and share space with anyone of any social strata in any country across the world, And so it's supposed to be the documentarian talking about how this to her is compassion, and it's uncontainable. It's the social constraints cannot dictate it, And so, oh my God, there's so much stuff I still want to touch on.
Can we read some of the responses on Twitter to her?
Yeah, 1 second. Well, Twitter has withheld the original tweet. So if you try to go find this tweet in India, you can't find it anymore because the Indian government has mandated that Twitter blocks this tweet.
Wait, how come she gets to keep her Twitter for blasphemy and we lose our Twitter accounts for the same kind of blasphemy? This is double. Is it because she had a check mark and we didn't? Is that what this is? A double standard, okay? Okay. Mm-hmm. But look, this person is like, shame on you. And it's also this one. This was a response. Read this one.
Every day the Hindu religion is mocked. Is government testing our patience? Dear Amit Shah, and then Modi, and then Dr. whatever, all these people he tagged. Please don't forget how we were questioning for hurting religious sentiments, and needful action must be taken.
Oh my God. Cry me a fuck river. I almost swore. Why are these people such babies? Why are you such babies? Like the whole guys, there's genocide happening.
Are the most fragile people I have ever met.
People
it's crazy.
Are dying. People are being killed. There are human rights violations that are happening across the globe.
Unemployment in India is horrible right now, but we're gonna talk about this. Okay.
People are being lynched. There's bigger issues. Why do you think your fifis are so important? I don't understand. How did people guys? You yourself have bigger issues to worry about. How is this your priority? Why do you think a government is responsible to protect your feelings? I don't understand the sense of entitlement these people are like, hey, people are somewhere saying something or doing something that I don't like to see. Here's an idea. Don't look at it. Why do you think that the government needs to use resources from taxpayer money to come and protect your sensitive little eyes over against these things? Like, people, like, do you really think that these are what we should be spending government resources on? Like, do you feel so entitled? You think so highly of your own emotions that you think other people's money should be spent? Okay, people worked hard and gave taxes, and that should be spent by the government to come protect your feelings. The amount of like the level of sensitivity and the entitlement is the together, it combined, and this is no other group of people other than religious people have this level of sensitivity and entitlement combined. Like, I've never seen. It's religion. Have you seen it anywhere else? Have you seen it anywhere else?
No.
It's unbelievable. Like,
close.
And the weird thing about it is that it comes from people that don't have their other needs met. You know what I mean? Like, it's not coming from like these like rich affluent people that are like, oh my, like they have like, I don't know, multiple houses and multiple cars, and they are rich, they travel all the time, and so like obviously they're sensitive people. Look at them, because everything, like, you don't have toilets, okay? Your country doesn't have enough toilets, okay? You're not rich, okay? You're not have everything else figured out, and this is what you think the government should be spending on its time on? Anyways, your streets are filled with shit, okay? Figure that out.
Okay, Armin.
Okay.
We can't throw stones in glass houses because I live in San Francisco and the streets here are covered in shit. So I can't make that criticism.
I can, because your streets are also filled with shit, okay?
Yeah, it's horrible here.
My streets are not filled with shit, okay? So I'm not throwing stones in glass houses because I don't live in a glass house. You live in a glass house.
Yeah, I can't make that criticism. We can't talk. Anyways, so this,
look at this oxymoron is like, we got toilets now, Armin, much better than the US.
Okay, then focus on the unemployment in the country. Then
tell that to Susie. Okay, my country is better than yours. Okay, maybe Susie can't say anything, but I can. So yeah, suck on that.
I was literally stepping over shit today. Like, I can't say anything.
Sure.
Anyway, back to the story. So I was reading a bunch of interviews with the director, and this has reached huge like levels of coverage. Like, it was covered in The Guardian, it was covered in BBC, Voice of America, CNN. Like, I was, it's one thing for the big name Indian media to cover it, but it's, I feel like, a different thing of like how big it's gotten when completely foreign big name media companies start to cover it as well. And there have been calls to try to get her extradited to India. Like, it's absolutely crazy. And she was saying that you can see the BJP influence in this incident because the High Commission of India at Ottawa issued an official condemnation. That's like if here there was like a Portuguese artist and he happened to do something that was very controversial amongst the culture in Portugal. And then there was some random local, theater that was going to show his movie. And then the Portuguese consulate comes out and issues a condemnation towards what they're doing in San Francisco. It's like, what the hell? Like, it's just so far beyond their reach. I think they were just really trying to exert their muscle. Not only this, so people, Armin, how many, you're familiar with something? Are you familiar with someone telling you, at least no one will behead you? Okay, you only defame Kali because no one will behead you. You remember that?
Yes.
There was a priest in Uttar Pradesh who got arrested for threatening to behead her.
Behead her?
Actually, no, that priest didn't get arrested, but there was very well documented case of a Hindu priest threatening her with beheading. And then there was a right-wing women, like a Hindutva women's group leader who was arrested for threatening her with death in
Oh my
Tamil
God.
Nadu.
Okay.
So there are arrests already being made in India behind what they're doing to her.
Okay, but however, technically that is true. I do tend to insult religions when I feel that it's not going to lead to my beheading. Okay, whether if I do think like I'm going to be beheaded, I tend to just stay quiet. Okay, but I do like my head on my shoulder, so that is a fair point. But yeah, go on.
No, but even when
but like, what is that challenge? Like,
all the time
saying that you're all, I know, yeah, what? Yeah, I insult Islam, but I don't think anybody's going to reach me to behead me. Okay, that's what. Like, I don't understand that criticism. Like, you're only saying that because nobody's going to behead you. Like, yeah, what is that? What is your point? Yeah, if I ever thought like somebody's going to behead me because of what I'm saying, I would not say that thing. Like, wow, is that a revelation to you? Like, what? Your standard is that I have to attack an idea, even if I think it's going to lead to my beheading? Well, I mean, like, what is the standard?
Well,
of
no, they're
bravery?
calling you a coward, basically, but that doesn't work.
Okay, if coward means you will shut up if somebody is likely to behead you, because I don't think like the people who threaten me with beheading, I just don't think it's going to happen. Okay, but if I did think it's going to happen, then yeah, that would work. That would work on me. I will not. I will not say the things. Like, does that make you a coward? I mean, if I wanted to stay alive, if that's cowardly, hey, coward, identify accurately. I'm a coward. There you go.
Well, I think what they're trying to say is when people say that to you, they're implying, oh, well, you would never say anything about Islam because just automatically someone's going to behead you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
automatically.
But
sure.
But I'm like, Armin has said more against Islam than you ever have. So that like criticism doesn't work. Like, but you're saying if I was like living in Iraq, like I wouldn't say such a stuff because the threats are way higher.
Yeah, I don't think they behead you in Iraq. I don't know what the.
No, I meant like around ISIS time.
Yes, okay. Or Saudi Arabia, they behead you there.
Yeah.
By the way, did they like? I remember this has given me some flashbacks when we did our Blasphemy against Cali. The funniest part was when they were like tagging Trudeau and Rouhani, like
Donald Trump.
No. They know that I'm Canadian Iranian, so they wanted to they were complaining to the president of Iran and the prime minister of Canada, like, hey, Rouhani and Trudeau, do something about this man. Help! It's so funny that they're tagging Rouhani. Oh my God, that was the best. Like, come pick up your guy. Like, what is he doing? Look at him. Like, this is your citizen. Do something. Help us out here.
Rouhani, your boy is wilding.
Oh my God, I miss those days. Those were the best.
I have to show you something crazy. Wait just a second. Okay. So, Armin, do you remember how we had many legal complaints filed against us for our Akali Blasphemy?
Okay.
Well, you will never guess who was one of the people who filed a police report against Lena, the director.
The same person? The same people?
Yes, guys, you guessed it. It's our favorite Indian advocate. It's Vineet Jindal.
He's on it, guys. He's on it. He's like, he doesn't miss opportunity to defend
When I
Kelly.
was reading an article and I saw this, I screamed, you guys. I'm like, Vineet, he's doing it again. He came after us and now he's going after her.
This is amazing.
This is crazy. This man needs a job.
Oh my God. I think this guy is horny for Cali. I really do think so. I think he just has
reasonable conclusion.
The only reasonable explanation. Yeah.
Secular rarity. Shocked, I tell you. But okay, no, I actually was shocked because I'm like, okay, of course a bunch of people are going to file police complaints against her. But when I saw that it was the same lawyer, I was like,
Oh, yeah, Susie's getting cut. Susie, you have this art ready for me to show. Hey, guys, is Susie cut for me? You guys as well?
Gotta be kidding.
Susie,
I'm back.
you got cut. You're back. You're back. All right. So we have this art that you wanted me to show. What is this
Yes.
about?
Okay. So this is something I read about today. Well, you can bring it up. And so there's all this outrage over Kali smoking, right?
Mhm.
It's so offensive that she's Kali smoking. This is a photograph of the advertisement for Kali cigarettes.
Oh my God! Really? Back when?
This is like from the end of the 1800s, early 1900s, I believe. This image can be found in the British Museum. It can be found in the Victorian Museum of Kolkata. And across, this is actually like a lot of people use this image in their worship in their shrines. This is
Wait, they
Kali
use an
brand
ad?
cigarettes that advertises. Okay, guys, this is not true, obviously, but it advertises that smoking their cigarettes like brings you closer to Kali.
People use a picture of a cigarette ad as a way to worship Kali?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Amazing.
And so
why is she not holding a cigarette pack or anything? How is this like they didn't do that? They
no,
didn't
this
put
is like the image on it or an advertisement
Mhm.
for it.
Interesting.
And
you think cigarettes bring you closer to Kali?
yeah,
I would
so
assume
it just goes to show how these people who are so outraged over her smoking, like blurring it out like it's the most obscene thing you've ever seen, is so ahistoric. Like this is over 100 years old.
Look
Kali
at
cigarettes.
Look, these are demons' head that she always has around her as a necklace, and you see their intestines and their hands, as she has the hands as her belt. Okay, but what she doesn't have, she's supposed to have a cup holding underneath the blood of the the heads that are bleeding, right? She's supposed to keep holding. There's a cup that she's holding so that the blood doesn't touch the ground, because every time the blood touches the ground, there will be more demons spawning out, because so that's why she makes sure that she always makes sure that it doesn't hit the ground. Also, that's her husband, right? That's Shiva, isn't it? Yeah. So the idea is that Kali is like so like out of control that the only way to calm her down is for her husband Shiva to just lie on the ground and let Kali step on him. Okay. I honestly think this is an excuse. I think Shiva just likes Kali stepping on him.
Yeah.
Right. And he was like, people are like, Shiva, what are you doing? And like she was like, this calms her down. And like, oh really? Yeah, it calms her down. I'm like because I think
please ignore the fact that I'm also getting excited.
No, I think like Shiva is supposed to be a dom, but I think he seems to be a sub, okay? But I think it doesn't match his image, because people are like, Shiva, the destroyer god. Obviously, he's a dom, okay? But I think he's a sub, and he just really likes Kali stepping on him. And he just doesn't want to tell people that because of, it doesn't match the identity, the image people have of him. So he just has an excuse that I'm doing this to calm her. This is the only way to... yeah, I think so. I think that's the explanation. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense.
So wait, can you show the video that I also included though?
Yeah.
This was hilarious to me. So this is a clip I saw on Instagram when I was doing research, and it's from India Today. And this woman who is so upset about Kali has the worst reasoning I have ever heard about her. Okay, guys, listen to her reasons about why this is insulting. I was like, this lady is okay. Okay, let's listen.
Do you have idea?
What do you think?
Do you have idea? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Deepa, what do you think? Is this an issue of intolerance? Is this an issue of hypocrisy? Do you agree with what Kasturi and Ajay Gautam have said, that as far as Hindu goddesses are concerned?
Oh my God, they were blurring the smoking part. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh my God, they like, this is an Islamic mindset. You guys are copying Muslims when they blur the parts that they don't like, and they tell us that we have an Abrahamic mindset. Abrahamic mindset detected right here. You guys are doing exactly what the Muslims do. Look, they're identifying the LGBT flag. They didn't blur out the LGBT flag, but they blurred out the smoking. The smoking was the offensive part. Amazing. Wow. Why are they so offended by smoking? I mean, I get it though. Actually, never mind. I endorse this. Okay, but go on.
You know, as far as Hindu goddesses are concerned, it's a free pass. You know, there's no fear of any real backlash.
God,
there might
look
be
at
a
it.
little bit of anger on.
Look at it. She's trying to contain herself. She's having a Kali moment right here herself. She's like, wow, let me go at them. Stop speaking, anchor, so I could look at her. She can't.
Social media. Shiv Arur might do a couple of shows on it, but that's about the maximum that you will face. And you'll get publicity in the bargain. Deepa.
I think this lady, I don't even want to take her name because I think that's what she wants. She wants all of her name. She wants all the publicity out there. So I'm not going to take her name. But this particular woman is very happy right now because we're all discussing her movie, which I'm not sure who's going to watch it now. But then she's very happy about it. Now,
more people are going to watch it.
Secondly, nothing, let me repeat, nothing about this poster that you see here is creative. On the contrary, it lacks everything that it should have. It's not creative. It's not sensitive. She has absolute no values and it's wrong at so many levels. First, she is a Hindu herself. It's wrong at that level. Secondly, she belongs to the Tamil community, and Tamilians are always known for their devotion. They're always known to be very clean-hearted and with clean devotion. It's wrong at that level. Thirdly, and most importantly, she's a woman. It's absolutely wrong to consider the mother of all goddesses that we consider as Kali in this particular situation. And right now, I would like to challenge her. I dare her. I dare this woman to go ahead and do something like this with the brothers and sisters of other communities. If it happens to them, I would be as hurt as I am today. But I dare you, lady, go ahead and do this with somebody else and see what happens. Shame on you for doing this. And this is absolutely not creativity. This deserves rotten tomatoes and nothing else. I, as a Hindu, am so outraged, so irritated today that somebody from my community, a fellow woman, has come out with such a shameful poster for a movie and she calls it creativity. This is absolutely baseless, and it cannot be said that, Hindu is always a way of life. Rather than a religion, we call it a way of life. We're always so inclusive, but this makes us completely intolerant. And if you're not intolerant today, then I don't know when we are going to be intolerant. It's enough of these tolerance from Hindus. I think this should not be tolerated from any religions. So if you feel that we are too tolerant, I think this is a time to wake up and be intolerant, because we're not going to encourage this. And if we are, we always say boycott the film, ban the film, but it hardly happens. I want this film of everything else to be actually boycotted. Let's not spend a penny on this movie. Let's not give her anything out of this, but just shame and humiliation. And that's the way we should take her. And there, I vow that in today's discussion, I'm not going to take this lady's name. She doesn't deserve to be spoken about on a national debate.
Deepa?
Okay, so there's so much to talk about there. Okay, but let's just break down her reasons. Her reasons why this is bad. Reason 1, she's a Hindu. Okay, so her group identity. Reason 2, she's a Tamil, so it's wrong. Okay, so it's wrong because of her ethnicity. Reason 3, she's a woman. So it's wrong because of her gender. So in every single case, it is wrong simply because of the group that she belongs to. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I am speechless. This is
so
too much
stupid.
Insanity. But read the comments. It was so amazing.
Dia's saying, I want to shake these people and scream, this is all pretend. Stop it. And Boop Boop was saying, oh, she doesn't satisfy my stereotypes, so I'm outraged.
True. But people, it's so funny. This is hurting our religious sentiments. Look at these are the actual comments. This is the actual comments. Look at this one. This comment. This is too much now. Honestly, they have crossed all their limits now. Okay, this is not good grammar. Oh, like look at these babies. Look at these little babies. Where is the Supreme Court? They can't see this? Question mark. Angry face. Angry face. Angry face.
It happened in a foreign nation halfway across the world.
How is
What are
the
they going
Supreme
to do
Court-
about it?
People are like, arrest her. These are the best. Oh my god. Why is like okay? I have one of my guilty pleasures in life is watching religious people get butthurt. I know this is not like a good thing to enjoy, but I can't help it. I don't know why it's so funny. Why is it so funny when religious people think that their hurt feelings is the most important thing in the world? Like,
And then it should
everything
upend
else
my
is
life
stuff.
and how I choose to live it. Yeah, because it's insane. Like no one else is this entitled. If you guys would like to join in the celebration of Kali as something that cannot be contained, cannot be, corralled within our social expectations, because this is the true nature of pure Shakti, then you guys should check out our Kali shirts that we sell at Atheist Republic, like this Kali and Sita gay love shirt that I have here. Link in the description.
By the way, our blasphemous art is like very sexy. So if you think that blasphemy is like
Which reminds
bad, like you should check out our blasphemy. Okay, and again, all our blasphemy, the clothed version of it, right, is available for free to our newsletter subscribers. So if you want to get that, subscribe to our newsletter. It's free. You get all our art for free every week. And also, by the way, we meet her challenge. Because she was like, I dare you to do this thing with other religions. Guess what? We covered every religion, including we have done art on Kali, Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism,
the Sikh community.
The Sikh community. We recently made the Sikhs extremely angry, but we have covered every religion, even dead religions. Okay, even religions that Filipino religions or like Indonesian religions, like religions that people in the same countries don't even knew that this was a religion here. African, old African religions. So we are covering every single all blasphemous art that we could possibly. So when she's like, because these people are like, we're so victimized. People are going for Hinduism, but they wouldn't dare do this with other religions. We do. Okay, we cover everything. So if you want to see, again, they're glorious and they're free. Link in the description. The only ones that are not free is the same. Every time you get an art on your newsletter, okay, there's a nude version of the same art that is only available to our patrons. Okay, so anyways,
which actually reminds me that in honor of this story, we are making our own art of Kali smoking, and it's gonna be so badass. Like, I'm really excited. So stay tuned coming out? For our sexy Kali smoking art.
When is it coming out?
Soon, like within the next few days.
Can we cover it in our news segment? Because it's about a news item. So we could cover it in our news segment.
Sure.
Can we show the safe for work version of it on live on air on our next?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, okay, cool. All right. That's exciting. Can you describe what's happening in it, or do you not want to describe it?
I mean, Kali just looks like a freaking badass biker girl. Like
biker girl. Wow.
Yeah, like smoking a cig. Just like looking like pure.
Can we mention in the description that smoking is not a good for you, because I don't want to like promote smoking and like
sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Susan's like sure.
No, I know it means a lot to Armin, so yes, we will.
Okay, cool. Can we clap for the next news?
Oh, this isn't good. No, we shouldn't clap for this.
Okay. Next news.
Another Indian civilian murdered for supporting quote-unquote blasphemous politician. On July 21st, Umesh Kolhe, a pharmacist, was brutally killed on his way home after shutting his drugstore in Maharashtra, India. A few days before his death, Kolhe shared a post in a WhatsApp group supporting Nupur Sharma, the controversial ex-BJP spokesperson who made quote-unquote blasphemous comments against the Prophet Muhammad. The authorities suspect that a Muslim member of that WhatsApp group, Dr. Yusuf Khan, a close acquaintance of the victim, forwarded the post on to pro-Islamic groups that ultimately led to the murder. According to the police, the suspects monitored Kolhe I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name, for 3 days based on CCTV footage that they had retrieved. On the night of the murder, Kolhe shut down his shop around 10 p.m. and headed home. The attackers ambushed him, stabbed him in his neck, and fled the scene. He was pronounced dead upon his arrival at the hospital. On June 23rd, the police arrested 7 people in connection to the murder, which included the alleged masterminds Irfan Khan and the leader of a local Islamic organization. So, okay, let me break this down. So, most people would be familiar at this point about the beheading that happened in Udaipur because the person allegedly supported Nupur Sharma, and then the Islamists came after him. So apparently, this murder actually happened 1 week before the Udaipur killing, but for some reason, news of it started to circulate 1 week after the Udaipur beheading. So there are a couple of different versions of what happened. So one version of what happened is that this man, Umesh, had a post in a WhatsApp group that supported Nupur Sharma. And in this group, it included some of his friends and colleagues and customers. And so one version of it is that there was this guy that he knew, Dr. Yusuf Khan, who was a Muslim, who was a member of this group and was offended. And that he went and forwarded the message from Umesh supporting Nupur Sharma, forwarded it to pro-Islamic, like radical groups on WhatsApp. And that then it just spiraled out of control. It got into the hands of this guy, Irfan Khan, and he basically implemented a conspiracy that involved like 7 to 10 people to go kill Umesh. So that's one version of events. Something else that I've heard is that he was Umesh was sending this post supporting Nupur Sharma in several different WhatsApp groups, and that he accidentally sent it to one that like included Muslims, and then that's how it spun out of control. So there are 2 different stories, but the one that I've seen covered the most is that it was this person that he's actually known since 2006. Like this guy that he's known for years, like 16 years, like a friend in business and person he would do business with, basically sent this message along to people who ultimately killed him. So it's really tragic and
Kashmir files
messy.
confirmed.
What do you mean?
Like he had a friend that was a Muslim.
Oh.
And he sent him.
Oh boy.
It's exactly like it happened in the movie. They're like, oh, my friend, my neighbor, we like, this is my, buddy, like I could trust this guy. And then like secretly, like he's here, he's hiding in the rice play.
So you're saying that this is basically confirming the stereotype that's being promoted.
No, I wasn't being serious. I'm just saying some people, I wasn't being serious. Okay.
Some people will see it as validation that your ordinary Muslim friend will turn their back on you and turn you
like
over
every Muslim,
at a moment's notice.
But YouTube, this is not my views, okay? But some people like generalize, and they would look at this and were like, see, you can't trust them. You can't trust even the ones who are your friends. They will like, because they have that Muslim thing in them, and then like eventually they will turn on you. Okay, so again, this is like, so basically the people who are doing this are going to make life very difficult for Muslims as a whole in India, like because this is how people are going to perceive stories like this. Like you can't, these are even the friendly neighborhood Muslim that you think he's different, right? Like look what they do, right? Like when the day comes, they will. By the way, YouTube, none of this is my view, okay? Like don't look.
I know, I'm getting nervous.
I'm just describing other people's views, okay? So maybe I should stop. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should stop. Something we don't hear very often from Armin. So yeah, I think it's really important for us to highlight this because it shows the level of how like radicalized elements of the community are, that all it takes is for them to receive like forwarded of a message that someone said that they support another prophet or a different political figure, and that this is justified as enough to murder them. And apparently the guy who was the mastermind behind this murder conspiracy, Irfan Khan, he is the leader of like a local NGO, like a local Islamic charity. And that he got like radicalized over the past few years, and that everyone was like, he used to be the super nice guy, and then he got really into religion. So it's really messed up. And okay, this is something I was thinking about. And Armin, I'm gonna bounce this idea off of you and let me know what you think. This story reminded me of what happened to a certain extent to what happened to Salman Taseer. For those who don't know, Salman Taseer was the governor of the state of Punjab in Pakistan, and he was assassinated by his own bodyguard simply for saying that we should have mercy on Asia Bibi, who was being sentenced to death for blasphemy against Islam. So simply for saying, oh, we should have mercy, simply for broadly showing support for her, he was assassinated. And this, I mean, obviously, like, this person isn't a government official. There's a lot of things that are different, but in some ways, this case kind of echoed to me, saying, because all he did, his only offense was supporting someone who allegedly did the blasphemy. Same thing with Salman Taseer. He didn't commit blasphemy himself. He simply was showing support for the person accused of it. And that resulted in his death. And the fact that there are elements of the communities that are like that radicalized to replicate that attitude within India is really concerning to me. What do you think about that comparison?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but given that the standards are supposed to be hurting people's religious sentiments, all right? That's the law, okay? So if you want to apply that law, then nobody should be able to say that, hey, I support Nupur Sharma, okay? Because now, see where this gets, guys, you see where these laws get you? Because where's the line, okay? But where's the line? Where are you going to draw the line? Like, you have shot yourself in the foot. You're like, hey, well, this is our country. Hey, you foreigners, you don't understand. This is our laws. Our country is like, we understand. This is how it is here. Okay, we are more religious. Our feelings are important to us. Maybe you guys are just a bunch of liberals. You don't get it. This is what you get now. Okay, because this is what your laws are doing to your side now. Okay, because technically, if you care about not hurting religious sentiments, now you're in a position where if you say like, hey, I support Nupur Sharma, saying this is blasphemy now, okay? Just like make it so that like, hey, you say Nupur, and like, don't finish it, Sharma, FIR, you say, oh, I'm hurt, you said her name, do not say her name, FIR is coming for you. Like, mentioning her name should be considered blasphemy, okay? Saying I support her is obvious blasphemy in India, okay? So, you made your bed, now lie in it, okay? There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
we should make an art of her. We should make not like we're not gonna make her into any sexy. She would be like badass. Like, let's make an art with Nupur Sharma, but she's like very like she's clothed and everything, but she's like doing something that like has a picture of, I don't know, Kali or something, or Muhammad something. I don't know. Maybe we should do something with Nupur Sharma. What do you think? An art with her.
I don't know, because while I'll defend her in this case, I do find her to be a hate monger in general. So yeah, but I don't love them.
We're not going to. It's not. No, she's like holding a picture of like sexy Kali or something. It's not going to be something that she would endorse. Like, she be like, okay, we won't do it. But my idea would be that she would be doing something blasphemous against Hindu as a way to make peace with Muslims. We would depict her doing something blasphemous against Hinduism. Just like, look, equal. I'm going to equally do Islam and Hinduism at the same time, so that too, as a show of good faith, a gesture or something like that. That would be my idea. But again, we can't do that because Susanna.
It's actually against Patreon's policies. So.
All right, there we go. We won't do it. All right. Anything else you want to add here? Any comments you want to highlight?
No, this case has been taken over by the NIA, which I believe is the equivalent of like the FBI. And so this is like reached a whole different level of federal investigation. And it'll be interesting to see what comes out from this.
Okay.
Oh, and all these, no, go for it. Okay, let's go to the next news.
All right. Can I clap for the next news?
Yes, because comparatively, it isn't as bad.
Okay, good.
This is crazy. Next news: Indian man arrested for wrapping chicken in newspaper bearing Hindu gods. This is crazy. On July 3rd in Sampur, Uttar Pradesh, Talib Hussain, a restaurant owner, was taken into police custody on blasphemy charges. He was accused of hurting the religious sentiments of the Hindu community by wrapping chicken dishes in old newspapers containing Hindu deities' images. The police complaint, or FIR, was lodged by the senior sub-inspector Ajay Kumar Tyagi, which stated that Talib Hussain was deliberately trying to hurt the religious sentiments of the Hindus. It is alleged that when the police reached his restaurant to apprehend him, Talib pulled out a knife and tried to attack the officers, quote unquote, with the intention to kill. Sub-Inspector Tyagi said a total of 90 full papers and 116 single sheets of newspaper from April 2nd, 2022 were with Hussain, which had images of goddess Mahogauri and Saraswati. According to police, Hussain was warned 4 days before his arrest to discard newspapers containing images of the Hindu gods, but he did not bother to comply. Talib's family denied all the allegations. They also alleged that the Sambal police are conspiring with the Hindu organizations in the area against the Muslim families. So this is insane. There's a lot about this story that straight up doesn't make sense. Let's get into it. Armin, what's your initial reaction?
I'm just giving this is giving me Pakistan vibes. Does it not give you
Thank
Pakistan
you.
vibes?
This is Pakistan level bullshit.
Like, congratulations, India. You're becoming more and more like the thing that you hate the most. Like you're Islamizing. This is a Hindu version of Sharia. What are you doing? This is what you hate. What is happening? Like, yeah, we hate our enemies. Let's become exactly like them. What is? Oh my God! Are you serious now? Hey, well, another thing I'm thinking. This guy has a Islamic name, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is?
Talib
I
Hussain.
suspect like this would not happen to him if he was like a Hindu guy.
No, probably not.
Okay. I feel like that's like I
Okay,
think if the
because,
same action. My guess, I might be completely off here, is that if this action was being done, the exact same action was being done by somebody with a Hindu name, he wouldn't be arrested. I don't know. Tell me in the live chat if that's crazy, but go on.
So a lot of people, I was reading like comments on Indian social media reacting to this news, and a lot of people were commenting like, am I supposed to now look through every newspaper that I toss out? Because like, if you're in the country, you know that like random newspapers will just be filled with these pictures all the time. Am I supposed to save all these? What am I supposed to do with them? I can't just recycle them. But part of what made this quote unquote extra bad was the fact that these are being wrapped in meat, which obviously is, again, I keep on saying obviously. It's probably not obvious to people who don't know Hinduism. The vegetarian versus non-vegetarian debate is very deeply dividing within India and within Hindu practice itself. It's because the meat is seen as something that's so corporeal. It's damaging and dirtying. It's something from this life. It signifies being, chained to reincarnation to have this meat being put onto the goddess, which is supposed to be like liberation from the cycles of rebirth itself. That's why it's seen as taboo and insulting. And so meanwhile, let's go through a timeline of events. So on the day when this happened, there was a guy who was a leader of a right-wing Hindutva gang. So pull up this tweet right here. So he tweeted this image where all of a sudden you just see this like guy, he's wearing like the Muslim white hat, like he's just standing in a store, standing next to these newspapers, and then it shows the name of his store. And he's basically telling the police, oh, look, he's packing chicken in these newspapers, like the police need to act on this. 30 minutes after this tweet was posted is when the police first go by to go check out the situation. Now, from this restaurant owner's point of view, he said that he was just standing at the front of his shop, and then some guy comes in, drops down a stack of newspapers, and then starts taking photos of him with it, and then like dips out and goes. The restaurant also contends that they say, well, we don't wrap our meat in newspaper, like it would leak. We wrap that in plastic, and we wrap the rotis in newspaper, like that's normal. And so that's why you see these newspapers out. Meanwhile, the people that sell them the newspapers say that, oh no, we do it in a different format. So that's not, there's like contention about how the newspapers are presented that proves that what the restaurateur is saying is wrong. I don't really understand that point. But basically, yeah, there's reason to believe that there are like right-wing Hindu gangs involved in this in general. They were swarming the shop and pressuring them and stuff. But then apparently now he's been accused of trying to assault a police officer upon the arrest. I don't know how much of that is true or is not true. The family completely contends that it's completely fabricated, that he would never do that. Two, why would you keep a knife right at the front of the store when the police come in? I don't know. The whole thing is really crazy.
So people in Pakistan, make sure that whenever you're getting like putting any form of paper in the trash, or if you are like wiping anything, make sure you check every single newspaper for names of Muhammad or Allah anywhere. And if you're in India, make sure you do not like, if you're throwing away a newspaper or if you're wrapping anything in newspaper, like make sure you investigate for any signs of Hindu gods or goddesses at any point. Like this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. Okay, you guys are living in nightmare land. In fact, let me actually fix this for you. Look, come here, Nala.
Oh,
yeah. Look at this. I just got a visit from my new
my
baby
gosh,
girl.
it's the newest baby. The
Look
newest
at
baby is
her. I
here.
have a new baby girl. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? What do you think? What do you think, Benny?
Wait, what does this have to do with blasphemy? Because you were saying, speaking of.
No, because it's a nightmare, and you know what cures nightmares? Puppies.
That's
Puppies.
true.
Puppies cure nightmare. She just showed up, so I just wanted to show her to you. I'm just so happy.
Cute.
I'm just so happy she's my new little baby. Anyway, sorry. Okay.
Let's see what people are saying in the live chat. Darmnot of Head is saying Susanna, aka the adults in the room. I don't know what this is in reference to, but Armin highlighted
this is in reference to me not holding my tongue, and you're trying to like, Armin, you're like, don't say that. This is gonna get us in trouble. So that's what that's reference to. Yeah.
Yeah. Dia saying hateful religious views are okay. Everyone else must be silent. And Bengali Hindu is saying we are becoming more and more like Pakistan. And Doorknob Headies, saying what we are saying. Sounds like the cleaning lady that took down an Islamic quote from a locker in Pakistan, and she got assaulted and sentenced. I don't know if she got sentenced, but she got charged with blasphemy, which is a charge that carries the ultimate penalty of death. So, yeah, very serious charge against Pakistan, simply over cleaning a locker. It's so absurd.
To be fair, let me be fair, because I think I need to, because people are like, oh my God, you're saying the same thing. Okay. It's still a lot worse in Pakistan. Okay, still extremely worse in Pakistan. Okay, so when I say it's becoming more and more like Pakistan, I'm not saying that it has reached it. I'm just saying it's moving.
If this was Pakistan, he would have already been lynched or be on death row. So
yeah. So yeah, again, so the difference is in Pakistan, like this man. Okay, so here's to give credit to India. Okay, this man is probably not at all at the point of his life being threatened. Okay. If he was in Pakistan, he would definitely be at the point of his life being threatened. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, so we don't want to just say that everything is equal. We're just saying we're noting the direction where things are heading, not the level. Okay, so just want to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to say for this news. I think we are ready to go to the next news. Oh, this next news is sad too.
No clapping.
Okay. No clapping.
Next news.
Next news. Iranian teen girl honor killed by father for quote unquote laughing with boy at park. On June 27th, Ariana Lashkari, a 16-year-old Iranian girl, was murdered for bringing quote-unquote disgrace to the family after she was allegedly seen laughing with a boy at a park. Ariana wanted to live without restrictions and fled to her paternal grandmother's home after a heated argument with her father. The father, Mohammed Kazem Lashkari, took a shotgun with him and went to his mother's house to look for Ariana. When he arrived, he became enraged and shot his daughter in the chest. He contended that it was not his intention to kill his daughter. Murders committed by fathers and paternal grandfathers in Iran are not punishable with retributive justice or qisas under the Islamic Penal Code, as Iranian law considers him. Sorry?
Qisas. Go on.
I can't say that. So I'm going to start. Murders committed by fathers and paternal grandfathers in Iran are not punishable with retributive justice under the Islamic Penal Code, as Iranian law considers him to be the quote-unquote owner of the victim's blood. If demanded by the family, perpetrators may only be sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison and pay blood money. Since the pandemic outbreak, honor killings have increased in different regions of Iran. According to the head of Rehane Women's NGO, about 60 women have been victims of honor killing in Iran over the past 2 years, including some victims as young as 10 years old.
Yeah, I think more and more fathers in Iran are, because of this news, realizing that the punishment for killing your daughter is not very high in Iran, right? So basically, the door is open to the fathers to take revenge if they want to, right? Like if this was his son, that he would be so much in trouble, right, with the law. Like he would be like but he could be out of jail within 3 years, right? And many people will make the calculation of like, hey, cleaning the honor, basically. By the way, the way that in Iran they think about it is not like upholding the honor, is the way that they're saying is defending the qairat, okay? So it's basically the same thing, right? So, but effectively comes with like maintaining the honor of a man. As a man, my daughter just going out and just being like this, my honor has been challenged. And it's so important for you to show that you're a real man, like a manly man that doesn't let your woman just loose like that. Okay, so this is the idea is like a man who his daughter or his sister or his wife just goes and does these things freely is a man that is not a real man, because he doesn't have a grip over the woman in his it's basically mother, sister, daughter, or niece as well. But if you know that the punishment is only 3 years, you might make the calculation that it's worth it. It's worth I will come out this meme proving to the world that I am still, because it's such an important, this is like toxic masculinity to the max, okay?
Oh, yeah.
This is your manliness, okay? Your manhood, or whatever you want to call it, is the most important part of your identity. In a way that if it's challenged, you are crushed emotionally. Like the emotional damage that society has like brainwashed you to accept the emotional damage that for that being challenged is so massive that no pain even compares to it, right? Not even the pain of losing your own daughter compares to the emotional damage that in society, your manhood, your manliness has been challenged. Okay, so to fix it, you basically compare the cost of like the emotional damage for losing my daughter plus the emotional damage for being in jail for 3 years doesn't add up to the emotional damage that I would get from having my manhood challenged like this. So you make a calculation and you make a decision. And unfortunately, in an Islamic decision, in an Islamic society, the decision has been more often is made in the direction of like killing, because again, there's to be honest, there's nothing in Islam that endorses this. Okay, there's nothing in Islam that says that hey, you can kill your daughter. Okay, this is haram in Islam. Okay. However, Islam is still responsible because it's Islam that does 3 things. Islam is that it promotes the culture of qairat or honor culture, right? It is in Islam. it promotes the idea that women should be controlled, and just being loose like this and available and free is considered extremely shameful. And it's also Islam that tells men that they have the right to punish women physically, and that they own women and this is their property. Okay, so even if in Islam there's nothing that says that you could actually go kill your, and actually the fourth one in Islam also considers the punishment for killing your own daughter very, very low. So the punishment for that is low. Okay, so all these things four combined, even though Islam doesn't endorses this, it creates an environment where these things are more likely to happen.
Is that Kali that I hear crying?
I think Kelly wants me to pet her. And
Yeah, she sounds like she wants attention. I can hear her.
Yeah.
So one thing that I thought was interesting and important to touch on is this whole retributive justice, or I can't say it right. I can't do the Q sound right. The gesas.
That's us. That's us.
I can't. Sorry. Because so one thing I know about this whole structure of retributive justice is that if you have a family member who will forgive you for the crime that you've committed, like the retributive justice can be forgiven, or like the blood money that you have to pay will be forgiven. But the problem with this is that in instances like this, that forgiveness power or whatever falls upon the mother. And so the chances of this girl actually getting justice for her own murder is so little, because when the power then falls on the mother to then hold her own husband or father, accountable for the murder that he committed within their own family, like oftentimes these men are just forgiven.
Yeah, I mean, especially if the mom agrees with the decision of the father. Something like if the father goes after the daughter and the mom like, yeah, go get her. Our daughter is loose and doing like be a man, be a real man and do something about it. And the husband goes and does something about it, and the woman supports it. If the mother supports it, then the man is like pretty, in the clear.
I didn't even mean it like that. I'm saying, what if the mom actually doesn't support it, but she's going to be pressured into forgiving her husband anyways, or she would feel emotionally inclined to do that anyways.
It's a spectrum. You basically, it depends on the mother. Okay, it could go all the way from like, I want you to suffer for the rest of your life, or the mother could be like, I hate you for doing this to our daughter, but I love you and you're my husband, so and I cannot live without you, so maybe I'll forgive you a little bit. Okay. Also, when you pay the blood money, it's coming out of the family. So the wife is like, I don't want this punishment to be high. This is my money. Right? So it doesn't make any sense. Right. But also it could also sometimes go to the point of not only forgiving, but actually like, why would I forgive him? He didn't do anything wrong. I endorse what he did. Like it could go all the way like that as well. So there's that.
I mean, well, this whole like Islamic concept of like retributive justice is so barbaric anyways, because they literally will blind people in Iran and amputate their hands and fingers as a form of retributive justice. It's so barbaric. So now the justice system will proceed to blind you since you accidentally blinded someone. It's crazy.
It's literally an eye for an eye. It's biblical justice.
Yeah. Doorknob Head is saying 1, promotes honor culture. 2, promotes female control. 3, tells me they can physically abuse women. 4, low consequences for killing your daughter. 0 for 0. Look at you, Islam. Okay.
There's some other comments.
Shriyash is asking a good question. This is actually what shocked me about this news to begin with. He's saying, how the F is laughing dishonorable? That's what shocked me about this story, is the standard of laughing with a boy at a park is worthy of being murdered. Like, Armin, put on your Gayrati hat and explain this to us.
I mean, so for even it's not just laughing with boys, even just like laughing, like giggling in a so for example, we have had recently a religious Chaduri woman on TV in Iran, and he was enjoying a very religious pro the mullah's regime song, and she was shown, and she just went like, I know it's called Salon Farman there, right? And the way she did it was kind of like smiling and looked cute when she did that, okay? And people were outraged just because of that. They were like, why is she smiling in such a cute way on TV? That's like outrageous. A woman shouldn't do that, especially a religious woman. Okay, so
How
like,
dare
just
you
like-
enjoy the own propaganda we made
what
for
is she
your
like?
government?
She was like Salam
Hello
Farman there, and
Commander
she was like
song?
this, and she was like cutely smiling. And we're like, oh my god, that's outrageous. Why are you being
Whore.
so flirtatious? People were accusing
Whore.
of people were accusing her of being flirtatious with the supreme leader just because she was listening to a song and smiling about it in that way. So,
Holy crap.
so I mean, the women like this might sound as if I'm exaggerating, okay? But women just laughing is impolite. Do you know what I mean? Especially, like, for example, even among, this is so ingrained in society that even among some liberal society, like you see, like you go to parties, right? And men are like telling jokes and they're laughing out loud, okay? But all of a sudden, for the same joke, if the woman can be like, haha, that's funny, okay? But there's something wrong. It seems something wrong if you see a woman just laughing out loud in a party. People are like, is she crazy?
Oh, you mean
Like-
how I do?
Yeah, right. People are like,
I'll just
why is she
fall
laughing
over.
like that? Like the standard, like, and the thing is that this is so unconscious. Like people don't even notice that they have this double standard. Like if you see like especially like a pretty woman just laughing out loud, people have been like, there's something wrong with her. Why is she laughing like that? Like as if no, but also just like hanging out. So this woman, like just hanging out with the boys and being like laughing with them is kind of like, people see it as you like flirting with them, like
You're
because
like
laughing is
inviting male attention. Yeah.
yeah, like
You're
just like
encouraging it.
giggling with the boys and stuff. Like what the, like people, it's religious or traditionalist parents will. This is basically, you just basically had sex with them. That's basically it. You just had sex with them in public. It's literally the same
Thanks,
thing.
you're pregnant now.
And in public, the point is like it's in public.
Mm.
Like people, the neighbors and people you know, your coworkers, people are seeing your daughter just chilling with the boys and and laughing with them. And people be talking. People like, have you heard about their daughter? Like, yeah, she's just hanging with the boys in the park all the time. She's one of those sluts, isn't she? Like, so
I'm getting triggered right now because of stuff I've been through.
So the father is like, yeah, like losing, probably like losing the idea of other people noticing that the woman that belongs to you is just like, you can't control her, and she's just, if she has the audacity to dishonor her father in this way, that she knows that other people can see her. She knows that people are going to talk about his daughter speaking in public, and she's still doing it. Like she doesn't even care, right? So I think like the father must have been fuming over all of this. So I don't know. By the way, I don't endorse any of this. I'm just trying to put you in the mindset of somebody who thinks like that.
The Gatorati mindset. Gossam is saying she had shared a post on Instagram a few days before that said, "My father, my world." Oh, that's so sad. And Gossam is also saying, according to some news agencies, she had a boyfriend and her father didn't like that. I don't know if this is true because I haven't seen this reported in the English media that I found about the story, but that's definitely a possibility. Secular Rarity is making a good point. He's saying, damn, imagine being literally against smiling and still thinking you aren't the baddies.
Yes. By the way, to be honest, like this is shocking to most Iranians. Like I'm not trying to make it seem like this is happening every Thursday in Iran, but it is increasing in numbers. Okay, like in Iran, this is becoming more common, and it might, I don't know why, because the people on average are becoming more liberal. But I think,
is it more common or that it's actually just being reported more?
I've heard that it's becoming increasing in number. I might be wrong about this. But Qasim, maybe you could comment on this in the live chat. But it might be that more fathers are noticing that, hey, the punishment for this is kind of mild, right? Like I think like that might be the reason. I don't know what the reason for the increase in numbers are.
Forever Stormy is saying Islam only allows the bitch face.
No, you
And
have to be.
also,
No. To be honest, the way that they describe it is like elegant, proper woman, right? You know, that a woman, because women are just most women are emotional and they're not in control of their feelings. And if you just see a proper woman, it understands that
very
she should.
contained.
Yeah, she's just not gonna just let loose and express all her emotions like in public like that. Okay, so that's the way that they see it. Yeah.
Oh my god. Forever Stormy is also asking the important question. So, is guys laughing with each other gay sex?
Yes. I don't know. Okay. Yeah.
So crazy.
Okay.
This is why we firmly promote the Biggerati lifestyle, the people without honor. Biggeratis of the world unite.
Yeah, actually, okay, let me actually tell you the other side of this, okay? There's a lot of Iranians on social media who try to challenge this, okay? So there are hashtags going in Iran for people who like are offended by the fact that these people are offended by girls laughing, apparently, and their hashtag that's people are saying they're proudly without honor, right? Like they're saying I'm without honor, like I have no honor. Like if this is what it means to have honor, consider me with I announce myself as somebody who doesn't care about their honor, right? So yeah, bigirat, like I'm proudly bigirat. Bigirat, B means without, ghirat means like something. Closest thing translation would be honor. So bigirat means without honor. I am proudly bigirat. Exactly. There you go.
We are basically Atheist Republic. I feel like is the world's central like Biggerats army.
Oh my god, you guys! Honestly, like the Persian side of our Atheist Republic. So we have.
It's on a different level of degeneracy.
I think we have become too Biggerat, okay? Because people are out. So people are competing with each other. People are like, I would happily let any man have as much sex with my wife as possible. Okay, it's like this is liberalism. Okay, like come have sex with my wife. Like guys,
come with my wife.
Like yeah, like yes, we're liberals. Okay, like so like this is not what we mean, maybe like, but like it's interesting how you see the reaction to this. People are trying to outcompete, like out liberal each other to I don't know, it's kind of funny. Like
I ask you to have as much sex with my wife as you want to
like,
show
you know,
I am not.
No, but like there was one guy that was saying that I will tell him like, okay, the idea is that it's not your wife is not like the idea that we're actually trying to promote is not like, oh, they're saying don't have sex with my wife. So the opposite of these evil Islamists is like, come have sex with my wife, please, sir, have sex with my wife. Like no, the idea is like your wife is not your property for you to decide these things.
You're close.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, yeah. But everything is like not everything, but a lot of things are to the extreme. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like the one, like
a little reactionary. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay.
Speaking of reactionary secularity, saying, do we need to step it up on the English side of atheism?
Yes, guys. Like, where's the degeneracy? Like, guys, like I'm actually surprised. Like, I am. So, for example, we want to challenge people's taboos on the Persian side, right? And I'm like, we had a show recently saying like what's wrong with prostitution, for example, right? We had the show on the Persian side, right? And I was like expecting some people like the people were coming in, they were too extreme on the liberal side. They're like there's one person after other, like on the Iranian on a Persian show, like they're coming out and trying to argue why there's absolutely nothing harmful about prostitution. I'm like, okay, it's a job. Like most jobs have some cons to them. Like there are problems with prostitution. It cannot be like no problem. Like I thought I would be taking the side of being like promoting like the idea that sex work needs to be not taboo, and if people challenging me, but I ended up taking the opposite side because so many people on the Persian show were trying to convince everybody that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, that I have to like, well, actually there's some evidence that this is dangerous, that you have to, it's more dangerous than other jobs, like Some people don't know what
There
they're getting
actually
into.
should be some restrictions, maybe.
Distributor, yeah, like it's not as like okay, like yeah, okay, so the taboo should be breaking, but it's not as okay as you're making it sound like it is.
Mhm.
So yeah, the degeneracy. Like I'm really proud of our Persian community that they're becoming more and more degenerate by the day. But I think we should put a lid on it at some point. Like we should like there should be some limitations here.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
as you've been making me laugh, I'm thinking about how someone out there thinks I'm a whore because I'm laughing at you because you're funny.
Yes, just be proud of it. Just take it. Just own it. Just be like, yeah. I mean, we're all stimulated by watching you laugh at it. Like we all like.
Oh my
It's
god.
just yeah, like guys, admit it. Just tell me in the live chat. Like this is too much. Like I can't even concentrate anymore.
Oh my god. Okay, moving
Armin.
on. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next story.
Can we clap?
This is actually good news.
Yay, great. Next news.
77 captives held in church basement for quote-unquote rapture by Nigerian pastor freed. Recently, the police rescued at least 77 people from inside an evangelical church in the Nigerian state of Ondo. Pastor David Anifowose promised the churchgoers that the rapture would occur soon and they would ascend to heaven. He initially promised that the second coming of Jesus would occur in April 2022, but soon changed the arrival date to September 2022. The authorities suspected that this was a mass kidnapping or child trafficking incident. The police inspected the church after a report filed by a mother whose children had disappeared. Many captives resisted when the police arrived at the church to rescue them. They refused to leave the premises and even cursed the concerned parents that came to take their children back home. Of the people freed by the police, 54 were adults, 23 were children, some under the age of 10. The president of the local youth club, Famikiwa Luka Skakaki, said that during interrogation, the church members had, quote unquote, walked into the basement themselves, willingly walked into the basement themselves. So this is a pretty crazy incident. This sounds like a Jonestown level incident that was averted. So there were 77 people that were being kept in this tiny little church basement in Nigeria because the pastor had convinced them that the second coming of Jesus Christ was going to come soon and that they needed to be within God's house on the church premises in the basement for when the rapture came. And there were some reports people had been in the church since January. And other people were came and convinced to go in a bit later than that. Some people were in there since January. Some people have been in there since April. And it's just crazy. This sounds like a really destructive cult. Like apparently the people in the local area are really disturbed by the activities of this church. Like they literally just disturb their everyday life. Like they have services like at all hours of the day. There'll be people passing out because they're not even getting enough sleep because of all these services. And that there were parents who said that the teachings of this church have convinced their children to drop out of school, and they weren't able to get their children back from this church. And the pastor would even preach, like, the Bible doesn't tell us anything about education. Like, we just need to be preparing for what comes next. So, like, if that doesn't sound like a death cult, I don't know what else does. So, yeah, this was basically a cult that kidnapped a bunch of people.
What was the end goal of putting people in the basement? I don't understand. I'm so sorry.
That's not entirely clear. Just they said that they need to be in the basement for when the rapture comes. And they've been in there.
Did they do anything to them? Did they do anything to them in the basement, or just held them there? They're just in the basement for months?
I don't know what went on. I don't know what went on in that basement. That hasn't really been reported on yet. I mean, it was tiny, so
Wouldn't
it's
the
not like
basement
living
be the worst
conditions
place
would
to
have been
be if
great.
Rapture is coming? Like, wouldn't you want to have like, wouldn't you want to be somewhere with no ceiling? Like, wouldn't you want to be like make it easy?
Yeah, if they're
I don't
going to
understand.
ascend, right?
Why are you putting them in the basement? Are you trying to stop them from Rapture?
They
Like,
probably
isn't
had
that
some weird explanation point for it, but obviously in reality, it's just to control them.
yeah, but control them for what? Like, okay, this is wacko, both from a religious standard, but also from a strategic, like I'm just trying to figure out what to have. Like, let me just think. Rapture is coming, quick, go into the basement. Doesn't make sense. Maybe maybe this guy. Okay, now I get it. Okay, so these were his favorite people, and he knew that they're good Christians, so they would be raised, and he just wanted to keep them. Like, maybe if I just put them in the basement, the Rapture wouldn't work on them. Maybe he didn't just want to lose his flock. He was just having so much a good time, like trying to save them from Jesus. Do they explain it? Like, I don't understand. Like, how does
This wasn't explained in the news reports, but I mean, how do you even explain it? Because these people are clear victims of indoctrination. And you can tell that by the fact that when the police came and opened up the doors and said, you can leave now, they said, no, we're here voluntarily. We want to stay. Like, they had to force them to leave. That's how deep this goes. So that is clear proof that they are under coercive control. That they have been subjected to undue influence, because you do not accept helplessness unless you have been trained to accept helplessness continually through every element of your immediate environment being controlled. So this is like textbook, like thought reform, destructive cult techniques. And it's just really sad because in all the articles I was reading about this from Nigerian newspapers, they were saying like that because of lack of proper infrastructure in many communities, like religious figures have an inordinate amount of influence and respect over their local communities. And this is a very severe example of that.
Yeah. Again, Nigeria is like, by the way, this is another example for a lot of people think Nigeria's problems are Islam. This is another example to show that Nigeria's problems are religion. Okay, not just Islam. Yeah. Anyways, I think we should move on to the next news. Unless you want to read any comments. Oh, wait, we have a video.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's not as relevant. It just like shows what the basement looked like. We can look at that if we want. But Secular Rarity is saying, this is like the Church of Scientology. They currently have dozens of members locked away in rooms, unable to leave or contact people. But if you ask them, those people, if they would stay, they would say that they chose this. Yes, that is coercive control. That is thought reform. That is proof of indoctrination. Wait, it'll show you some footage of the basement in a little while.
Oh, there we go.
So here, what the basement
for
looks
people
like.
For people who are listening to this on audio, you should come on YouTube and watch the video version.
Okay, I don't know how big this basement was, but this seems tiny. I'm like, how the hell were there 77 people in here?
77, yeah. This is not big enough for 77.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
That was the main point.
Where did they poop? Did they poop in the basement?
I don't even ask.
Okay. I don't blame you. Seems like it would have smelled. Oh, the next one is Nigeria too?
Yes, the next one is Nigeria as well.
Okay. Can we clap?
No.
Oh wow. Okay. Next news.
Nigerian court orders death by stoning for men convicted of homosexuality. On June 14th, a 70-year-old man and two other gay men were arrested by the religious police force of Bauchi, Nigeria. The accused were charged and convicted for engaging in acts of homosexuality and sentenced to death by stoning by an Islamic court. According to the Hizbah religious police official, the three men were accused of raping. I'm not going to R-wording. I'm not going to say the word because of YouTube. R-wording 2 minor boys after drugging them. The incident happened in the Guada village in May. The parents of the 2 boys had complained about the 3 men. Religious police, or the Hisbah, arrested them soon after. In Nigeria, having sex with a minor is also an offense punishable by death, but has never been enforced. The men were instead charged for engaging in homosexual acts. So this is a little bit complicated because this isn't, I don't want this to be construed with like an LGBT rights case, because they allegedly were committing crimes against, like, brutal, violent crimes against minors. But what I find complicated is the fact that they were not charged for crimes against minors. They were charged they were charged under the section of the penal code that had to do with it being a homosexual act, not with the act being involuntary, non-consensual, not with the act being against a minor. But
So
it was the homosexuality part of it. Yeah.
So 3 things happened here. First, sex with minors. 2, RAPE. 3, homosexuality. And the court decided, like, look at these 3. Which one of these 3 we have a problem with? And they went with homosexuality. Among the 3, that's the one they had an issue with. Unbelievable. Were there any punishments for the other 2, or like, yeah, no, those 2 other 2 are fine?
Based on based on the reporting that I have seen, the charges they are facing are because of the homosexuality, not because of the drugging and R-wording.
Wow. And by stoning.
They're bringing back stoning.
Yeah. Nigeria is bringing. By the way, somebody was asking in live chat, is Nigeria a Muslim country? It's half Christian, half Muslim. Okay, so I mean, it's stoning. Like, obviously, we don't have any Christian countries right now that endorses stoning. So this is obviously the Islamic part, right? This says Sharia court. It's 50. Nigeria is cursed by religion, especially because when you have half, and it's not even mixed, it's like half of a country is Christian and the other half, like, they're geographically separated as well. This is like a recipe for absolute horrible disaster, right? So this is like a nightmare. By the way, I do want to defend these people's rights. Like, if you say, like, oh, this is not LGBT rights, like, no, like, criminals have rights. Okay, like, if a criminal, even though they have committed the worst crime, if they get charged with being gay, you know, human rights are only human rights if you defend the worst humans. Okay, like, even if you defend, they apply to every human, even the humans that have committed the worst crimes, right? So you need to defend these people's rights. We're like, hey, no, they shouldn't be charged for being gay, even if they're vile people that have like, you know. And also, even if they have committed the worst crime, nobody should be punished by stoning. There's no crime that deserves you to be stoned to death. Like, literally nothing. Okay, like, you might think, like, you know, you might come up with something that says, like, this one does it, but no, there's no justice system should ever endorse stoning of anybody or torture. This is wrong in 2 ways. There should be no torture in the justice system and no death penalty, and this is both. So there's it's so barbaric and backwards.
Okay,
like, you're stoning people? Are you serious?
Yeah. No, sorry to interrupt you. What I meant when I was talking about the LGBT rights is what I mean is that this is a very complex or difficult case to talk about as someone who promotes LGBT rights, because the LGBT community is constantly being painted with the brush that we are people who do things to children. They say gays can't reproduce, so they recruit, and meaning that they go after children. So it's very complex and difficult for, like, someone who does advocate to talk about instances like this, but they do need to be acknowledged and, like, talked about openly. But it's just this contention of trying to talk about it, but not conflate the two, not conflate the fact that these people did this horrible thing with a minor towards, like, advocating for the rights of the larger LGBT community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand that. I understand when you, especially if you had so much experience with people trying to associate with this with each other, anecdotes like this will be like come across like, oh my god, like I can't imagine that this is going to be used for that purpose. I could see how problematic that is. Yeah, but yeah, I understand.
It's what I mean to say is it's an awkward situation where you're like, hey, we shouldn't stone people to death for homosexuality, but they're like, hey, but Susanna, did you look at the crime that was committed? It's pretty freaking bad and barbaric. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, oh yeah. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, but obviously it's very clear. Okay, no matter how barbaric your crime was, you shouldn't become a barbarian yourself by torturing or killing people. Like it doesn't. Yeah, the whole point of the justice system is to not satisfy your desire for revenge, but to do what is needed to promote peace and reduce crimes. And none of this does that. Anyways, do you want to move on to the next news? Or because that what?
I just saw some comments that you highlighted from the previous segment where you're saying that there are people who are stimulated by my laugh.
Yes,
Christy and Doorknob Head are posting that they be stimulated.
Yeah. Now you're doing it again though. You're stimulating more of them. Just stop it. Like you got.
Oh my god, Susanna, you host laughing on camera.
All right. So can we clap for the next news?
Oh yeah, this is ridiculous.
Next news. GOP pushes lie that the Biden State Department is quote unquote promoting atheism. Recently, 15 House Republicans in the United States Congress expressed quote unquote grave concern over President Joe Biden for using tax dollars to quote unquote support atheism and radical progressive orthodoxy across the world. In 2021, a Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO for short, was released by the State Department's Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor, or DRL for short. It announced the availability of grants up to $500,000 to any organization that is, quote, committed to the practice and spread of atheism and humanism in South Central Asia and the Middle East / North Africa. The grant is aimed to, quote, ensure everyone enjoys religious freedom. The House Republicans called the DRL's program, quote unquote, constitutionally dubious. They also called atheism, quote, an integral part to the belief system of Marxism and communism. The Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR for short, CAIR's National Deputy Director, Edward Ahmed Mitchell, stated that this funding, quote, will contribute to the suspicion held by some people overseas that our government seeks to secularize the Muslim world by supporting foreign organizations and governments hostile to Islam. In a tweet, Nick Fish, president of American Atheists, called the letter, quote unquote, mind-numbingly absurd. So there's a lot to get into in this story. So first of all, let's back up. So this, what the hell? Wait, sorry. So this article, this letter that was recently pushed by 15 House Republicans is in response to a grant opportunity that was available last year, and this grant opportunity also closed last year. And we didn't get any. Oh my god, they were giving money away for atheism, and we didn't get.
I know you. I knew you were gonna say that.
Oh yeah, damn it! This would have been perfect for us.
I know. But anyway, so for some reason, they just discovered this program now. And so they issued this program now, even though this closed last year. Okay, the reason why I said, oh no, is because I had a copy of the letter and I was actually reading it today. But now when I try to pull it up, it says this was set to private. So I need to try. I want to find this again. So this is like next level absurd. So they're going on about how the State Department is promoting atheism when really, when you look at the actual State Department listing, wait, I can pull it up. They basically just say that, you know, like everyone should be able to enjoy religious freedoms. It is within these are different articles of treaties that we signed to respect religious freedoms. To that end, we want everyone to enjoy it. The objective of this grant is to combat discrimination, harassment, and abuses against atheist, humanist, non-practicing, and non-affiliated individuals for all religious communities by strengthening networks among these communities and providing organizational training and resources. So basically saying, like, we know that these people are discriminated against, we know that they face human rights abuses, and it is within our interest to provide them the funding to help combat these abuses against them. That itself is not promoting a specific belief. It's just saying we recognize that you're persecuted for your beliefs. Here are some resources to help you deal with and tackle and combat that discrimination. That's not an endorsement of atheism.
Yeah, I mean, I think people understand, like, if a minority group was being oppressed and you were trying, it's kind of like saying, like, I don't know, if the U.S. government tried to protect certain Jewish people in a place where if they were being discriminated, that wouldn't be an endorsement of Judaism. Or if Christians,
in fact,
like,
we have an office and ambassador dedicated to combating anti-Semitism. So in the letter that the House Republicans wrote, they were talking about how if we had grants like this for Christians in China, people on your left-wing progressive radical side, they would be saying that this is unconstitutional and all this stuff. I'm like, the State Department does have programs for persecuted Christians. They have programs for persecuted Muslims. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they fight against the persecution of, like, the Rohingya, like, because of their Muslim identity. What are you talking about? Like, we already do this.
Yeah, I mean, like, do they think, like, for you to not promote atheism, you should, like, let atheists be murdered and tortured? Like, I'm pretty sure most Muslims and Christians and Hindus would agree that saying, like, hey, maybe don't murder somebody for being an atheist is not necessarily an endorsement of atheism. Okay. Like, okay, these people, I don't know, these people have an IQ of 0.5 combined, all of them together.
Yeah. So no, this is my favorite part. Can I read you a segment of this letter that the Republicans wrote? To be clear, atheism and quote unquote humanism are official belief systems. And then they have a footnote to a quote by the American Humanists Association. And the tweet that they link to is the tweet when the American Humanist Association revoked their award that they gave Dawkins because of his transgender comments. So I don't know why they put a footnote to that link to prove that atheism and humanism are official belief systems. It makes no sense. Like, to prove it, we have the fact that they took away this award from Dawkins. Like, what? So there's like two levels. One, they're saying that atheism and humanism are official belief systems. It's like, okay, bro. Okay, so it's one level of, like, stupid. And then the second level is the fact that they used that tweet as a footnote to prove it. Okay. As an initial matter, therefore, we would like to know what other United States government programs supported with appropriated funding are being used either to encourage, inculcate, or disparage any official belief system, atheist, humanist, Christian, Muslim, or otherwise. It is one thing for the department to be tolerant and respectful for a wide range of belief systems and to encourage governments to respect religious freedoms and interests of their citizens. It is quite another for the United States government to work to actively empower atheists, humanists, non-practicing, and non-decision and public decision-making.
Yeah, this is just insane. So are you guys...
I wish the U.S. government was working to actively empower atheists.
I mean, I would be empowered maybe, but like endorse, like honestly, as an atheist, if the U.S. government endorses atheism, I would be right there to be like, what the hell are you doing? This is none of your business.
Yeah, no,
You
I
know
was
what
just
mean?
making a joke. That actually would be weird. I would be against that.
Yeah.
Um,
Like seriously, as me and Susanna, as atheists, if the U.S. government one day were like, yes, atheism is we are pro-atheist, okay, like not a pro-atheism, okay, pro-atheist, you have to be pro-atheist because they're people, right? But because you have atheist citizens, right? So there you go. But if you're pro-atheist, if you're like endorsing atheism, or if you're funding the promotion of atheism, okay, we here as Atheist Republic are like, that is against secularism. The government has no business taking a side in religious affairs. You should just stay out of it, right? A lot of people are confused. They think secularism means the promotion of atheism, but a promotion of atheism by the government violates secularism. These are simple things. I think people should understand that. Do we want to read this comment? Read this one.
Doorknob is saying, not burning witches, promoting atheism, not stoning people to death, promoting atheism, allowing women to control their own body, promoting atheism. Is that how this works?
I mean, you guys, if you guys keep going like this, you're promoting atheism, okay? If you keep telling people that all these good things are atheism, people are like, hey, maybe atheism is based. That's a promotion.
Yeah. Okay, no, but here, okay, there. I have to read you this hilarious portion of this article. This letter. So this letter by the 15 House Republicans suddenly takes a turn. Listen to this, Armin. It takes a left turn. It goes, Americans rightly discern this as part of the broader effort on the part of your administration to promote radical progressive orthodoxy abroad. Atheism is an integral part of the belief system of Marxism and communism. A few weeks ago, the United States Embassy in Germany erected a Black Lives Matter flag. Americans should be very alarmed at this. It's not only that Black Lives Matter remains a highly divisive and increasingly unpopular movement here in the United States. The display is also denoting a promotion of a specific radical organization. Other recent initiatives by the State Department include creating a quote-unquote special representative for racial equity and justice, whose mission will be to spread critical race theory and other progressive dogmas worldwide, and working to remove restrictions on abortions across the globe. Given then that they have all these questions for the State Department, the way they have 12 questions that they must answer for, and one of them is basically like, would you oppose a future administration flying a Blue Lives Matter flag or other comparable cultural connotations at a U.S. embassy? How does promoting atheism in Muslim countries empower U.S. values and interests? I could actually talk about that for like 45 minutes. I just liked how this letter like randomly took like a left turn like into a totally different culture war. Personally, I actually do think it's weird that the German embassy, the United States embassy at Germany elected a Black Lives Matter flag at the consulate. Like, that does seem weird to me. But Armin, no, before we move on, we need to talk about this reaction from CARE. So I love that this letter from the Republicans actually prompted a reaction from CARE. Because when the national deputy director said that this funding will contribute to the suspicion held by some people overseas that our government seeks to secularize the Muslim world by supporting foreign organizations and governments hostile to Islam.
Wait,
I was like, based.
Wait, what was the CARE's position that they are? Can you say that again? Read it again. Sorry.
That this funding will contribute to the suspicion held by people overseas that our government seeks to secularize the Muslim world by supporting foreign organizations and governments hostile to Islam.
Wait, so I'm
like, good.
Wait, so CARE is agreeing with the GOP here?
Basically, but from their perspective, they're like, we don't like this because this is going to make people think that we're trying to secularize the Muslim world and that you're funding things that are hostile to Islam.
Yeah, that's our job. Okay, that's what we're doing,
yeah.
But not the U.S. government. But this is very interesting because we have both American Christians and American Muslims fear-mongering over this rise of atheism and secularism. So this is the Islamic left and the Christian right in the US panicking over atheism. I just that's very interesting that they're both seem to be agreeing in this with each other.
Yeah, the statement from here really tickled me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't understand how they're like, how is this within the US how is this within the United States foreign policy interests? I'm like, I could talk for 3 hours about how this is within our foreign policy interests. Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's an obvious answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a human rights issue. What are you guys talking about? Like, it's a human, like, people are being oppressed because of their lack of religion, and United States is one of those countries that sometimes pretends to care about human rights and does actively try to promote it, right? You guys endorse this when it's other people, especially Christians. Now it's like atheists and non-believers. Like, what is wrong with this? They're being oppressed. They're being hunted down, and the United States, to be consistent, has to stand for them as well, or I'll just being hypocrite. You guys, this is one of those cases when you have privileges and you don't recognize them, and then when other people are all starting to get to your level, you think your rights are being violated, but it's just the privileges are being taken away and people are being treated equally. This is like, again, religious people not recognizing how much they enjoy the religious privileges that they have, right? And then anyways,
I mean, I could think of like a few big problems the United States has had over the past 50 years that would have been, greatly helped and mended by a presence of strong secularism across different areas of the Middle East. But how is it within our interests? I don't know. Like, what?
Sure. A good point. And actually, you know what? You're making a very good point, because the United States has had a poor record of promoting secularism, right? And this is actually the right way to do it, okay? Because, I mean, I don't know exactly how they're doing it, but the wrong approach is to force it down people's throats from top to bottom, as if that's possible, because that will contradict secularism, right? So historically, what the United States has done in promoting secularism is backing secular dictators, okay? And that didn't turn out well. That led into people becoming more Islamic, because, like, if this is secularism, then screw your secularism, right? But the right way to do it is not to do it yourself. People are already there. People are already active on the ground, and you can just support their work. And again, promoting secularism is not promoting atheism, okay? Secularism is good for everybody, including religious people. It's just like, it's a human rights issue. It basically requires people to be treated equally regardless of their religion. And we would want the United States to, as a country that is supposed to be, again, I'm supposed to be supporting human rights around the globe. This is one thing that they should be doing. Okay, so again, I'm not saying that they are. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. But that's what they're supposed to be doing. Anyways, can I let's move on. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Okay. Next news.
Secularists launch probe into Christian nationalism in Florida curriculum. Recently, Governor Ron DeSantis launched a Civics Literacy Excellence Initiative, or CLEI for short, which had Floridian teachers voluntarily attend a 3-day training session on how to teach students to be quote-unquote virtuous citizens. Teachers were appalled when they had participated in these sessions and found that they were heavily influenced by conservative Christian ideology. This training regimen is part of Governor Ron DeSantis' $106 million initiative. Upon completion, teachers will receive a bonus of $3,000. DeSantis stated that by the end of the month, about 2,500 teachers would complete the program. The training session focused on clearing up some quote-unquote historical misconceptions, claiming that the nation's founding fathers did not want a strict separation of church and state. It also downplayed the role of slavery in American history and pushed the originalism judicial theory that requires people to interpret the Constitution as the framers intended it, not as a living, evolving document. Barbara Siegel, a teacher, said, quote, there was a very strong Christian fundamentalist way toward analyzing different quotes in different documents. That was concerning. An investigation about the initiative has been started by Americans United for Separation of Church and State. The investigation aims to, quote, uncover the extent to which the training sessions were developed by conservative Christian groups. So,
they're coming for your children, and it's working. Okay, this is what I keep telling you guys.
You were talking about this the other day. This is exactly what you were talking about.
Guys, these people are serious, and you have to give it to them. They are very clever and they're very ambitious. Okay, a lot of liberals and a lot of secularists and a lot of atheists think like, oh, look at the demographics, things are moving in our favor, so let's just go home and just not do activism. Okay, you are losing the battle. Again, the Christians have noticed demographics changing against them, okay? And they're doing something about it. While you are content that, hey, everything is time will make things more liberal. Everything progresses. You only need time. That's a myth. That's a myth. Time could make things go backwards, okay? Like if you are not there ready to defend your rights and to defend liberalism and secularism, the people who don't want the direction, but people who are against progress, the conservatives, they have the ways. And again, look at how things are changing in the United States, okay? Even though demographically people are becoming less and less religion is having a comeback in politics, and they will use that power to also fix the demographic battle. Okay, I always kept telling people that we're winning the demographic battle, we're losing the political battle, because a lot of you idiots think that getting together and organizing and creating communities and fighting, making politically doing political activism, that's a religious thing to do. And this is what you get. This is what you get when you think that's religious. So we atheists don't do something. Don't do. This is when you get a minority of religious people telling everybody in a goddamn country that the right to abortion is not guaranteed, for example, right? Like this is why even if you're winning demographically, politically you're losing. And eventually the loss in the political battle could lead to the loss in the demographic battle, because these people know that children are the future, right? So if they manage to control your government, they will manage to control your education system. And if they manage to control your education system, they will control your tomorrow, and they will get the demographics back in their favor. And you're losing this battle. And more people need to. This is the future of your country, and you're losing. You're losing this battle. You have to change something about this. I don't know.
What makes it worse is that this educational program was created by an organization created by one of the Koch brothers and by Hillsdale College, which is a private, extremely sectarian, conservative Christian college. So it's literally coming from like conservative Christian organizations. Secularity is saying exactly, if you don't always fight for your rights, others will try and take them away. Yes. So I was looking at copies of the slides that were given to these teachers, and one of them is literally just a slide that says, misconception. The founders desired strict separation of church and state, and the founders only wanted to protect freedom of worship. Oh, yeah, actually, let's watch this video.
Oh, we're watching this? Okay.
Yeah.
Some Florida teachers are raising concerns about the state's new civics training. The Florida Department of Education is holding a series of conferences statewide this summer to teach a new civics initiative championed by Governor Ron DeSantis. Digital reporter Travis is here. Travis, some teachers feel the new initiative pushes conservative ideas without teachers opposing views.
That's right, Joy. One teacher I spoke with said he attended a recent conference and presenters downplayed slavery and said that the widely accepted idea that the founding fathers wanted a separation between church and state is a misconception.
Last year, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that put $106 million towards supporting new civics and government standards in K-12 public schools.
Every teacher who completes the training and earns the Civic Seal of Excellence will receive a $3,000 bonus from the state of Florida.
Those new standards are now being taught to thousands of teachers across the state during 10 voluntary 3-day conferences, where teachers also get a $700 stipend for attending. But St. Johns County teacher Justin Vogel said he was shocked at the presentations he saw during a conference last week in Jacksonville. Teachers in South Florida voiced similar concerns.
It's mind-blowing what they tried to convince us of in some cases. Some cases were worse than others.
In one of the slides presented and shared with News4Jax, the DOE said it was a misconception that the founding fathers wanted a strict separation between church and state.
The presenters said that it was because Jefferson, when he said separate a wall of separation between church and state, he didn't mean it.
Vogel, who teaches academic research, said presenters also promoted the idea of originalism, the theory that the Constitution should be given the original meaning it had when it became law, by repeatedly using the phrase "through the founders' eyes."
It became pretty clear pretty quickly that this was a euphemism for, originalism, which in itself is, a conservative viewpoint, which is fine, totally fine, but nothing else was presented.
Vogel said the presentation also downplayed slavery by noting that 2/3 of founding fathers owned slaves, but adding even those that held slaves did not defend the institution. Presenters also showed a slide that said less than 4% of slavery in the Western Hemisphere was in colonial America.
We tried to contact the Department of Education about the teachers' concerns, but it did not immediately respond. In a statement to the Tampa Bay Times, FDOE said, "Every lesson we teach is based on history, not ideology or any form of indoctrination." Tart, back to you.
All right.
Yeah, it's so absurd. I was actually looking through a bunch of the slides that they had available today. And so I'll read off of one slide. It says, New England colonies, Jonathan Edwards, quote, "Political prosperity requires general practice of a strict morality, but this cannot be so well secured by any other means as a belief of Christianity. The civil magistrate does not pretend to reward virtue in general according to its moral excellency. He does indeed reward some particular acts of virtue which are highly beneficial to the public." So, an explicit promotion of the belief in Christianity above others. And as an example, they're basically trying to promote the ideas that the founders of our nation always wanted it to be a Christian nation, and that we've lost sight of that, and that we need to remember to teach children this. And what makes it so particularly ironic is that this is Governor Ron DeSantis's grand push to fight critical race theory in schools, because he's saying, school has been so politicized, it's been taken away from the education, it's been taken away from the children. Bring back real education to your children. We're not weaponizing it anymore. And this is what he gives in response. This is supposed to be his remedy to it.
Yeah, guys, next time you hear we need to fight CRT or critical race theory, there's they're trying to replace what they call a force for fascism with actual force for theocracy. You read this comment by Darko?
Darko was saying, seems like Christio-fascism versus secularism is the next big culture war in the U.S. I think it has been the underlining of the culture war we've been dealing with, certainly for the past 5 years. But I think it is going to be a much more just on its face, out in the open part of the battle, from now on. But what I can say is that it is because of incredible organizations like Americans United for the separation of church and state that they are out here fighting initiatives like this. So I want to definitely give a promotion to the Americans United for the Separation of Church and State, because they are the ones who have launched a probe into this curriculum that's being presented, and they're actually taking the steps to fight it, and they have the legal means to do so. So if that sounds good to you, like it does to me, please consider supporting them and their work, because they're super important. This Freedom from Religion Foundation also wrote an excellent article for addressed to the Florida Department of Education, which I really encourage people to read, because they just talk about how this is so patently promoting one like perspective over others, and that's discrimination. Doornot is saying critical conservatives hate that word, race conservatives hate that word, theory conservatives hate that word. It's the anti-trinity for them.
It makes sense now. Now I get it.
Yeah. Forever
Yeah.
Stormy is making a good point, saying let's be honest, CRT is nonsense, but these guys are replacing one idea with another shitty idea. In my opinion, it's a worse idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so CRT depends on there's so many different versions. Some of them are kind of okay. A lot of them are batshit crazy, but the problem is that they're not even. It's kind of the Red Scare, right? They're like, is this CRT? Is it like, hey, we're like, hey, racism
It's McCarthyism. It's McCarthyism.
That's what I said. It's Red Scare. It's a Red Scare. The repeat of Red Scare. But like everything they don't like is now CRT. They're like, if you just say like, hey, there's like, I don't know, there's some racism here. CRT. Like, hey, slavery was a thing. Slavery was a thing. If you teach children in the United States that, hey, slavery happened, they call that CRT now. So
Basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Or if you don't talk about slavery in the context of how it wasn't as bad in America as it was in the rest of South America, then if you don't talk about it like that, then it's CRT.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, it was bad here, but like, look at how it was really bad over there, then it's, yeah.
Yeah. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes, we can.
Next news. Atheist Republic interviewed about Hinduism by German humanist magazine.
If you guys can think of a better title for this segment, please let me know. So basically, I was recently interviewed by I can't even say the name of it right.
Germany's
I'm gonna call it
humanist.
Yeah, this is like Germany's biggest humanist publication. And I can't pronounce the name of it right. So I'm going to call it HPD for short. So I was recently interviewed by HPD, and I had a really fun time talking to the writer of this article, Adrian, and we spoke for like hours about Hinduism and what's going on in India and the rise of religious intolerance, the rise in the crackdown on free expression, and also what Atheist Republic has been going through in regards to our battles in India. So I really encourage you guys to check out this article. I put the link to it in the description, or you could,
But it's in German. Should I do Google Translate?
Okay, no, but here's the thing. The Google Translate is actually pretty good. So when I did Google Translate into English, I don't know if what the translation is like in other languages, but when I translated the German to English, it was actually like pretty decent. You can get the meaning of what I was saying. Like we talk about love jihad, we talk about the hate speeches that were given in the beginning of the year. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. People are giving me congratulations. Yeah. That's really sweet.
Yeah, there's so many. Like, look at this. Yay. So many. Boss lady Susie.
Boss lady Susie. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think it was really interesting for me to talk to someone from Germany about this issue, because when I was explaining this to him, and then when he went to go like read about it himself, who's basically like, holy shit. Like, from the perspective of a German, obviously going through World War II, they're like, this is deeply concerning, and I can't believe more people aren't talking about this. So
I know, right?
I really enjoyed this from the perspective of like, I love to see more people talking about this, getting this coverage, and I think it really like sparked an idea or interest with the guy I was talking to about covering this issue more and more. Yeah,
What a beautiful picture!
It was a
by the
lot
way.
of fun. Yeah,
I
that
know
actually
this
is a nice
Hinduism.
picture.
Yeah, look at all the
Yeah.
colors. Look at the job and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I just hate the guys in those pictures on the car, but
Yeah.
it's a nice picture.
Oh, look, Blasphemous art. There's a link to Blasphemous art here, or mentioned. Oh, look at the Atheist
Yes,
Republic
and he
versus
also
Daily Hype.
says how to support our legal fund, which is very nice.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for that. That's fantastic.
So yeah, I had an absolute joy speaking to Adrian, and I hope you guys go check out the article. The auto translation is actually like very workable, and let me know what you think. Let me know, what you think about what I had to say. It'd be interesting. to me.
Really, this is really good work, Susie. Good job, by the way. This is really good. You're getting the word. Like, this is something that needs a lot more attention, and I can't think of anyone better to like go and talk to people about this. Like, you are doing such a good job bringing more attention to this, to such a violations of human rights and secularism, like so important. And a lot of humanist groups are not even aware of the existence of these issues in like the second largest country in the world by population,
Crazy.
right? So the fact that you're doing this, you're bringing. I mean, the people that read these kind of publications are like people that are like up, higher ups, like when it comes to, in society. So maybe the fact that this is being put in front of them is important. So good job. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah.
It was really fun talking to him because as I was speaking, like I was hearing myself, and it made me realize how much of this information I have just absorbed at this point. Because just hearing myself like repeat back instance upon instance upon instance, I was like, holy cow, like I keep it all locked in here. Oh, you guys have the sweetest comments.
You highlighted
comment-
something. You highlighted the comment by Oxymoron. That's very interesting. Highlight that. Yeah,
So Oxymoron is saying, although it's celebrating our collective humiliation, I'm still happy for you, Susie. So I'm very curious about this comment because Oxymoron actually is a Hinduism supporter. So I'm not exactly sure from which perspective he is expressing the collective humiliation. But I don't know if you're speaking from the sense of like an Indian citizen unhappy with the image that this gives India. Like, I think that the country can certainly come through this. Like, I have faith in that. There just has to be the willingness, and there has to be the right incentives, and there has to be the right people in power to actually put a stop to it. Yeah. This whole saga, this whole period of Indian history does not have to end in collective humiliation.
I mean, even if India goes to crap like completely, which I don't think it will, because I'm very optimistic about India's future, I'm interested to see the different perspective that Oxymoron and Susanna have. Okay, when it comes to how they feel about stories like this. Okay, because I think Oxymoron used to be, even though he still has a collectivist mindset, I think he it's less than before. I think he is becoming more aware of looking at becoming more individualistic. I know he has still a far way to go, but like even today, for example, if you've noticed, like Oxymoron, just to make it more clear to you the way that we look at things, right? Like when we attack United States, United States politics or things that are happening bad, like you guys, Susanna never feels like anybody is attacking her, right? Like when we point out, like it doesn't even cross her mind that this is an attack on her, right? Like every time we have a story like, oh my God, this is a horrible thing in the United States. The last thing that on Susanna's mind is like, oh my God, people are like saying bad things about me, okay? But people with collectivist mindset, when we like criticize India, if you have a collectivist mindset and you're Indian, you kind of feel like somebody is targeting you, like, or your collective. and you feel like you're being attacked and you become defensive about it. Okay, so that's I just want you to notice how different this is, because even in the reactions you could notice that, like when we point out something bad in India, if you are like Canadian or American, you're like, well, in America, okay, as if you took a stab at them, you took a punch at them, and now they want to take a punch at you, as if you talking about problems in America is a reaction to that individual American, as if that individual American, like, but we don't think like that. Like the people who don't have this collectivist mindset, they don't feel like if for example, if you attack Canada, I don't think like you're attacking me. Like, and I also spend a lot of time attacking problems in Iran, right? So as an Iranian, so this is not how we think, and this is useful. Okay, this is useful to. Yeah, what did he say something?
Oxymoron is clarifying that although this is celebrating our collective humiliation, he's saying that was a joke.
I know. Okay, obviously it was a joke, but what I'm pointing out is something that I'm noticing the entire all the time. Like this is a reference to like earlier today. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so like something that I'm noticing you growing, the fact that you joke about these things, because you, Oxymoron, you were originally a lot more defensive about this. So I just want you to notice that. Like, Susie, have you not noticed that? Like he used to be more defensive about us talking.
Oh my
about
God,
India,
I've noticed
Hinduism.
a lot of growth. A lot of growth. It's been awesome. Like
us, for example, I don't think, Oxymoron, correct me if I'm wrong, like you're saying, you're joking about this right now, okay? But you can, right now, you're saying you're happy for Susie. But a year ago, I think if you've seen us having a publication like this about India, which doesn't show India in a good light, do you agree that you probably wouldn't be joking about it? Like you wouldn't be receiving it as well as you're receiving it today? Like, do you not notice the difference? Because I think I've noticed a change. And if I'm right about this, if Oxymoron is able to now joke about it and even congratulate Susie about an article like this, and he wasn't able to do that like a year ago, to me, it suggests that collectivism, because sometimes I look at people with collectivist mindset and I think like I'm looking at a brick wall, like that you can't go through, right?
Same.
But I don't know, if I see that Oxymoron can change to go to the point of like seeing an article like this, not getting butthurt over it, and even joking about it, that means like, this is it's possible to go from a collectivist mindset to a more individualist mindset. And I think Oxymoron sees
very positive attitude, Armin. I like that.
And I think Oxymoron actually these days sees himself more closer to us, maybe even, you know what I mean? Like, which shows like we don't share any collectivist, any collective similarities with Oxymoron, right? But I think he sees himself as part of this community, right? Like, I'm Iranian Canadian, Susanna is American, and she has like Scottish and Irish heritage. Oxymoron is a Hinduism Indian. So there's nothing that we share here that could be considered a collective, but all three of us are part of this community now called the Atheist Republic. So we don't have to have these similarities for us to be able to work with each other and be with each other and see ourselves as part of the work that we're doing here, right? So just noticing that, I think, is useful. Anyways,
I like that.
You like that?
So I had a lot of fun covering the news today. The Akali segment was, I think, definitely my favorite.
Oh yeah, me too. Wait, Turnup is saying #positive Armin. Your mileage may vary. Conditions may be apt to change at any moment. Yeah, I might. Yeah, look, Oxymoron saying that's cute. Thank you. Okay. Cool. Great. Okay, people are saying great stream. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for today. The comments were very positive. Your positive comments are very, more motivating. So thank you for all of that. Me and Susie do need that. Okay. You guys make these streams a lot more fun. Okay. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being so nice to us in the live chat. And yeah, we're gonna
definitely gives you a lot of energy.
Yes. And And thank you, Susanna, for doing all the hard work, and also the people who wrote the news and prepared the news in the background, the people who can't tell their names to everybody. And guys, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, because the Blasphemous art, the Cali one, the Badass Cali one, the Motorbike Cali, that's coming up soon. And I haven't forgot the Sikh art. We're going to resend that on our newsletter, so make sure you are on our newsletter. Link in the description below. All right, guys. See you soon in a few days with the Q&A.
Subscribe if you haven't
Yes.
subscribed. What are you doing here? We've been here for almost 3 hours. We do this every
Yes.
week. Where else can you get the takes that you get here? Where we go after Islam, we go after Sikhism, we go after Hinduism, we'll go after the Indian Supreme Court, we'll go after the American State Department. It doesn't matter. We're taking all of them. That's why you need to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe and hit the bell notification. Make sure you do that, and like and comment as well. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.